A man once stood in the middle of a violent storm, holding the broken pieces of his own roof. He looked toward the sky and cried, "Why is everything being taken from me?" An old traveler standing nearby said something he never forgot. The storm is not asking what you want to keep. It is revealing what was never strong enough to carry your future. The man became silent because suddenly he understood. The storm had not only damaged his house, it had exposed every weak place he had covered, ignored, and trusted for years. Perhaps that is what this season is doing to you. Perhaps the pressure is not proof that your life is ending. Perhaps it is exposing the version of you that can no longer enter the life ahead, the version that depended too much on people, the version that broke whenever one door closed, the version that needed constant signs before taking one faithful step, the version that forced everything because waiting felt like rejection. My brother and sister, some storms do not come to erase you. They reveal you. They show you what fear was hiding. They show you who remains when support disappears. They show you what your heart truly trusts when every visible answer becomes quiet. And the most frightening part is this: you may keep praying for the storm to stop, while Allah is using this season to teach your roots how to hold. One day, the wind may become quiet, but the greatest miracle may not be the silence outside you. It may be the person standing inside you, calmer, wiser, harder to control. No longer begging every person to stay, no longer calling every closed door the end, no longer allowing one painful moment to name the whole future. So do not leave this message in the middle. Stay until the final lesson, because the seventh lesson may help you understand why you are no longer breaking the way you once did. And before we begin, make one quiet promise to yourself. Do not listen only for comfort. Listen for the truth your storm may be trying to reveal. Because when this message ends, your circumstances may not have changed yet, but the way you stand inside them may never be the same again. 1. The storm reveals what fear was hiding. Difficult moments can expose the habits, attachments, and weaknesses you are ready to outgrow. Calm days can hide what lives inside you. When life is comfortable, you may believe you are strong because nothing is testing that strength. You may believe you are peaceful because no one is disturbing your peace. You may believe you have let go because the thing you fear losing is still beside you. Then the storm arrives. Pressure touches the places you kept hidden, the fear you avoided, the approval you depended upon, the habits you used to escape your feelings, the people you believed you could not live without, the future you thought had to happen exactly as you planned. Suddenly, everything inside you begins speaking at once, and you may not like what you hear. You may discover that one person had too much control over your happiness. You may discover that one closed door could destroy your confidence. You may discover that your peace was not deeply rooted. It only survived because life had not shaken it yet. But listen carefully. The storm does not always create these weaknesses. Sometimes it simply reveals what was already there. A cracked wall may look strong in the sunlight, but when the rain enters, the hidden damage becomes visible. The rain did not create every crack. It showed you where the wall needed repair. Your difficult season may be doing the same. Allah may allow you to see parts of yourself that comfort kept hidden, not so you can hate yourself, not so you can believe you are weak forever, but so you can finally begin rebuilding from the truth, because you cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot change what you continue to excuse, and you cannot become a stronger version of yourself while protecting every habit that belongs to the old one. So when fear rises, do not only ask, "How do I make this feeling disappear?" Ask, "What is this fear showing me?" Is it showing you where you need stronger faith? Is it showing you where you need better boundaries? Is it showing you that you have placed too much hope in people? Is it showing you that your identity became tied to one plan, one relationship, or one result? The storm may feel like it is exposing you, but perhaps it is introducing you to the parts of yourself that are ready to grow. What becomes visible can be healed. What is admitted can be changed. and what is faced with faith no longer has to control your future. 2. When people step back, your faith learns to stand. Not every season of distance is rejection. Sometimes it teaches your heart to depend less on people. Some storms become heavier because the people you expected to stay suddenly become distant. The messages become shorter. The calls stop coming. The person who once noticed your silence no longer asks what is wrong. The hands that once held you begin to loosen. And while you are already fighting a difficult battle, you also begin carrying the pain of feeling forgotten. You ask yourself, why did they leave when I needed them most? But not every person who steps back is your enemy. Not every distance is punishment. And not every lonely season means you have been abandoned. Sometimes, people reach the limit of what they can understand. They may love you, but they cannot enter every room of your pain. They may care for you, but they cannot fight every battle inside your heart. They may promise to remain, yet still become tired, distracted, or unable to give you what you need. Human beings are gifts, but they were never meant to become the ground beneath your feet. Because when your entire peace depends on one person, their absence can make your whole world collapse. When your confidence depends on their words, their silence can make you question your worth. When your hope depends on their presence, their distance can make you feel as though life has ended. This may be why some seasons become quiet. Your heart is being taught a difficult but beautiful lesson. People can walk beside you, but they cannot become your source. They can encourage you, but they cannot carry your soul. They can remind you of your strength, but they cannot build your faith for you. There are nights no friend can live on your behalf. There are fears no family member can face for you. There are tears only Allah fully understands. And there are moments when you must learn that being alone is not the same as being abandoned. A child learning to walk feels afraid when the supporting hand slowly moves away. The child may believe the hand has left, but the parent is still near, watching every step. The hand moved not because the child was unloved, but because the child was ready to discover the strength hidden in their own legs. Perhaps this season is teaching your heart to walk. Perhaps the support became weaker, so your faith could become stronger. Perhaps the voices around you became quieter, so you could hear what your soul had been trying to say. Do not become bitter toward everyone who could not remain. Some people were meant to help you for one chapter, not follow you through the entire book. Be grateful for what was good. Learn from what hurt. But do not chase people until you lose your dignity. Do not beg for a place in hearts that have chosen distance, and do not believe their absence has reduced your value. Your worth did not begin when they arrived. It does not disappear when they leave. When people step back, breathe, pray, stand slowly. Your heart may shake at first, but every time you rise without the support you once believed you needed, something inside you becomes stronger. You begin to understand that loneliness cannot destroy a heart that knows where to return. People may step away, but your faith can teach you how to remain standing. 3. The pressure is expanding what you can carry. What feels overwhelming today may be developing the patience and strength you will need tomorrow. A small cup becomes full after only a little water, but the ocean can receive rivers without losing itself. Perhaps this season is not only changing your life, perhaps it is enlarging your heart. Right now, the pressure may feel too heavy. You wake up already tired. Small problems feel bigger than before. One difficult conversation can stay inside your mind for the whole day. You may look at other people and wonder why their lives seem easy, while you are being asked to carry so much. But pressure has a strange way of revealing strength that comfort never needed. You do not discover patience when everything happens on time. You discover patience when the answer is late, and you still refuse to lose hope. You do not discover courage when the road is safe. You discover courage when your hands are shaking, yet you still take the next step. You do not discover inner peace when everyone treats you well. You discover it when people misunderstand you, and you choose not to become cruel. That is how strength is built, not in one great moment, but through many small moments when you could have given up, reacted badly, or returned to your old habits. but you chose something better. Think about the first time a person carries a heavy bag. Their arms hurt, their breathing changes, their body says, "Put it down." But when the weight is carried carefully over time, the body begins to adapt. The same bag that once felt impossible becomes easier to lift. The bag did not become lighter. The person became stronger. Your life may be teaching you the same lesson. The responsibility may still be heavy. The uncertainty may still be uncomfortable. The road may still require effort, but you may be changing beneath the weight. The old version of you reacted to every problem as if it were the end. The new version is learning to pause. The old version needed immediate answers. The new version is learning to wait without destroying its peace. The old version depended on perfect conditions. The new version is learning how to remain steady even when life feels uncertain. This does not mean every painful experience is good. It does not mean you must enjoy suffering. And it does not mean you should remain in situations that are harming you. It means that even difficult seasons can teach you something valuable when you face them with faith, wisdom, and patience. Perhaps the future you are praying for will require a calmer heart. Perhaps it will require stronger boundaries. Perhaps it will place people in your care. Perhaps it will give you opportunities that demand discipline, humility, and emotional strength. You may be asking Allah for a bigger life, but a bigger life may require a deeper version of you. A blessing can become a burden when the heart is not ready to carry it. Success can become dangerous when the character is weak. A relationship can become painful when the person has not learned patience, honesty, and self-control. So sometimes, before life gives you more, it teaches you how to carry more. The waiting teaches you patience. The disappointment teaches you wisdom. The responsibility teaches you discipline. The mistake teaches you humility. The lonely day teaches you how to comfort yourself without running toward what harms you. None of these lessons feel beautiful while you are learning them, but later you may notice the change. Things that once destroyed your entire week no longer control your whole day. Words that once broke your confidence no longer decide your worth. Problems that once made you panic now make you pause and think. You begin responding instead of reacting. You begin praying instead of assuming the worst. You begin asking, "What can I learn here?" instead of only asking, "Why is this happening to me?" That is growth. Growth is not always visible from the outside. Sometimes growth is simply crying and still continuing. It is feeling afraid and still doing what is right. It is being disappointed without becoming bitter. It is carrying pain without throwing that pain onto innocent people. Do not insult your progress because you are still tired. You can be tired and growing at the same time. You can feel overwhelmed and still be developing strength. You can have difficult days without becoming a weak person. Even strong roots move when the wind becomes fierce. Their strength is not that they never move. Their strength is that they remain connected to the ground. So remain connected to your faith. Ask for help when you need it. Rest when your body and mind require rest. Take one responsibility at a time. You do not have to carry tomorrow's weight today. The pressure may be real, but it does not have to become your identity. One day, you may face something that once would have broken you, and you will be surprised by your own calmness. You will realize that the old storm taught you how to stand in the new one. What feels overwhelming today may be enlarging your ability to remain patient, wise, and steady tomorrow. The weight may not be becoming lighter yet, but with every faithful step, you may be becoming stronger. 4. The closed door may be correcting your direction. Some paths end, not because your life is over, but because your journey needs a different road. A traveler once stood in front of a locked gate for so long that he forgot there was an entire world behind him. He pushed the gate. He knocked on it. He cried beside it. He asked why it would not open. Day after day, he remained there, believing that his whole future was waiting on the other side. Then one morning, he finally turned around. Behind him was a wide road leading toward a place more beautiful than the gate had ever promised. The road had always been there, but his eyes were too fixed on what refused to open. Sometimes, this is what happens in life. You stand in front of one closed door, and begin believing that everything is finished. One person says no, and you feel unwanted. One opportunity disappears, and you feel forgotten. One plan fails, and you begin questioning your entire future. One relationship ends, and you feel as if happiness has ended with it. But a closed door is not always the end of the road. Sometimes it is the end of the wrong road. Sometimes the door closes because your journey needs a different direction. This does not make the pain small. A closed door can hurt deeply, especially when you prayed for it to open. You may have imagined your life behind that door. You may have planned your years around it. You may have told yourself, when this happens, I will finally be happy. You may have pictured the home, the marriage, the job, the friendship, the success, the future. Then suddenly, the answer changes. The door closes, and now you are not only grieving what happened, you are grieving the life you imagined would happen. That is why some endings feel so painful. You are not only losing a person or an opportunity, you are losing the future you created in your mind. You are saying goodbye to conversations that never happened, to places you never reached, to moments you believed were waiting for you. That kind of grief is real. Do not shame yourself for feeling it. Do not force yourself to act as if nothing mattered. You are allowed to feel disappointed. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to admit that you wanted the door to open. Faith does not mean pretending you feel no pain. Faith means pain does not become the final judge of your life. You can grieve the door and still trust that your journey continues. You can miss what you wanted without believing nothing better can exist. You can feel confused without believing your life has lost all direction. Sometimes, the greatest danger is not the closed door. It is what you do after it closes. You may keep knocking long after the answer has become clear. You may keep chasing someone who has repeatedly chosen distance. You may keep forcing yourself into places where your peace disappears. You may keep returning to a situation simply because you have already given it so much time. And because you invested so much, you believe you must continue. But time already spent is not always a reason to waste more time. A road does not become right simply because you walked far upon it. A person does not become good for you simply because you loved them deeply. A plan does not become your destiny simply because you imagined it for years. There comes a moment when wisdom asks you to stop pushing, not because you are weak, not because you have no faith, but because your energy should not be spent fighting every ending. Some doors need effort, some doors need patience, but some doors need acceptance. The difficult part is knowing the difference. Effort says, I will do what is right and possible. Force says, I will destroy myself until life gives me exactly what I want. Effort keeps dignity. Force loses dignity. Effort accepts reality. Force argues with reality every day. Effort leaves the result with Allah. Force believes peace can only come through one specific outcome. Ask yourself honestly, am I working toward this door, or am I worshipping this door? Has this hope become so large that I cannot imagine Allah guiding me anywhere else? Have I connected my worth to this one result? Am I ignoring clear harm because I am afraid to begin again? Am I calling it patience when I am actually afraid to let go? These are not easy questions, but sometimes the storm becomes stronger because you are trying to remain where your season has already ended. Life keeps pulling you forward, but your heart keeps reaching backward. You want the next chapter while holding tightly to the last page. You ask for peace while returning to the same place that removes it. You ask for guidance while refusing every road except the one you chose. There is a difference between having a dream and demanding that Allah follow your dream exactly. You can make plans, you can work hard, you can pray with hope, but you must leave room for a wisdom greater than your own understanding. You see one door. Allah sees the entire road. You see what you want today. Allah knows what may shape your tomorrow. You see the beauty of beginning. Allah knows where that beginning may eventually lead. This does not mean every disappointment hides an immediate reward. Sometimes the lesson appears slowly. Sometimes years pass before you understand why something could not remain. Sometimes you may never receive a full explanation in this life, but lack of explanation does not mean lack of meaning. A child may cry When a sharp object is taken from their hands, the child sees only what was removed. The parent sees the harm that could have followed. The child thinks, something I wanted was taken. The parent knows something dangerous was prevented. Of course, life is more complex than this example. Not every loss is simple protection. Not every closed door is easy to understand. But it reminds you that your view is limited. You are standing inside one moment. You cannot yet see every consequence. You do not know who you may meet because this road changed. You do not know which habit you may develop because you had to begin again. You do not know which hidden weakness would have grown if everything had gone according to plan. You do not know which stronger version of you may emerge because the easier path disappeared. A closed door may be correcting more than your direction. It may be correcting your dependence. Perhaps you placed too much hope in one person. Perhaps you believed one opportunity would finally prove your worth. Perhaps you believed success would silence every insecurity. Perhaps you believed marriage would heal every lonely part of you. Perhaps you believed moving somewhere new would automatically create a new heart, but a new door cannot heal what you refuse to face inside yourself. Sometimes the door closes, so you stop asking the outside world to repair everything within you. The job cannot give you permanent worth. The person cannot complete your identity. The applause cannot remove every fear. The achievement cannot protect you from every empty night. These things can be blessings, but they cannot become your foundation. When a door closes, you may discover how much of yourself you placed behind it. You may say, without this, I am nothing. But that thought is not truth. You existed before the opportunity. You had value before the relationship. You were worthy before anyone chose you. Your life has meaning before the next answer arrives. The closed door may be asking you to remember who you are without it. There are people who remain trapped for years because they refuse to accept one ending. Their body moves forward, but their heart remains outside an old door. They compare every new person to someone who left. They compare every new opportunity to one they lost. They keep telling the same painful story until the story becomes their identity. They no longer say, a door closed. They say, my life always closes. They no longer say, one person rejected me. They say, I am unlovable. They no longer say, this plan failed. They say, nothing will ever work for me. Be careful. A closed door is an event. Do not turn it into a permanent name for yourself. Rejection is something you experienced. It is not who you are. Loss is something that happened. It is not the whole meaning of your future. Failure can teach you, but it does not have the right to define every chapter that comes next. Your mind may try to build a prison from one painful moment. Do not hand it the bricks. Speak to yourself with truth. Say, this hurt me, but it does not own me. Say, this ended, but my life has not ended. Say, I do not understand the road yet, but I can still take the next good step. Say, I may not have received what I wanted, but I have not lost my worth. There is great strength in refusing to insult your whole life because one part became painful. Sometimes, direction changes quietly. You may not receive a great sign. You may only notice that the old path feels heavier every day. Your peace disappears there. Your character becomes weaker there. You constantly have to betray your values to remain there. You keep shrinking yourself to fit. You keep explaining basic respect. You keep ignoring what your heart already knows. And still, you tell yourself, maybe I should try harder. But trying harder is not always the answer. Sometimes trying differently is the answer. Sometimes leaving is the answer. Sometimes silence is the answer. Sometimes beginning again is the answer. Sometimes the bravest prayer is not, open this door. It is, guide me toward the door that is truly good for me, even if it is not the one I chose. That prayer requires humility, because the ego loves being right. It wants the story to happen exactly as it imagined. It does not only want happiness, it wants happiness in a specific form, through a specific person, at a specific time. But faith learns to say, I have a desire, but Allah has greater knowledge. This does not make you passive. You still take action. You still seek opportunities. You still improve yourself. You still speak honestly. You still try to repair what can be repaired. But after sincere effort, you stop treating every outcome as something you must control. There is peace in knowing that your responsibility is the step, not the entire road. You plant, you water, you care, but you do not command the seed to grow at the exact hour you choose. You prepare, you apply, you learn, but you cannot force every person to say yes. You love sincerely, you communicate, you behave with respect, but you cannot force another heart to remain. This is where many people lose peace. They confuse responsibility with control. You are responsible for your character. You are not responsible for controlling every result. You are responsible for your effort. You are not responsible for making every door open. You are responsible for learning from the road. You are not responsible for understanding every turn immediately. A closed door may also be saving your time. Sometimes you call it delay because you do not yet realize you are being stopped from walking deeper into the wrong place. Imagine discovering after 10 years what life is showing you today. Imagine losing more of yourself before accepting what is already clear. Imagine building an entire future around something that repeatedly damages your soul. The pain of the closed door may be heavy now, but the pain of an open door leading to the wrong place could be far greater. Not every open door is mercy. Some open doors are tests. Some easy opportunities carry hidden costs. Some people enter beautifully but leave damage behind. Some roads begin with excitement and end with regret. This is why you should not measure goodness only by how quickly something opens. A fast answer is not always a good answer. An exciting path is not always a safe path. A beautiful beginning is not always proof of a beautiful ending. Look deeper. Does this road bring you closer to honesty? Does it protect your dignity? Does it allow your faith to remain alive? Does it make you kinder, wiser, and more responsible? Or does it make you anxious, dishonest, bitter, and constantly afraid? Peace is not the only sign of a good decision, because good decisions can still feel difficult, but a path that repeatedly requires you to abandon your values deserves serious attention. Do not romanticize what keeps breaking your character. Do not call chaos love. Do not call humiliation patience. Do not call fear loyalty. Do not call obsession hope. Names matter. When you give a harmful thing a beautiful name, you make it harder to leave. Call things what they are. Then make your decision with wisdom. Sometimes you stay because you fear starting again. Beginning again can feel like failure. You look at the time you invested, the emotions you gave, the dreams you built, and you say, I cannot walk away now. But beginning again does not always mean you lost. Sometimes beginning again means you finally stopped losing. Starting over may be painful, but staying in the wrong direction can cost even more. A wrong train does not become right because you have already traveled many miles. The longer you stay, the farther you move from where you truly need to be. Courage is not only fighting to remain. Sometimes courage is stepping off. Sometimes courage is admitting, this is not working. Sometimes courage is letting people misunderstand your decision because they did not live your pain. Sometimes courage is leaving the familiar and walking toward a future you cannot yet see. The familiar can feel safe even when it is hurting you. At least you know its pain. The unknown feels frightening because it has no shape. But the unknown also holds possibilities the old path could never offer. You may not know where the new road leads. You may only know that remaining where you are is slowly emptying you. That knowledge may be enough for the next step. You do not need the whole map. You may only need the courage to turn around. A person walking through darkness does not see the entire road. They see only the small area touched by the lamp. Yet that small light is enough for the next few steps, then the next few, then the next. Guidance often works like that. You may not receive a complete picture. You may receive one honest realization, one wise conversation, one boundary you finally set, one habit you stop, one application you send, one apology you make, one decision to stop returning. Small steps can create a completely different life. Do not underestimate the power of one corrected direction. A ship traveling only a few degrees off course may end up far from its destination. In the same way, one small change in your daily direction can slowly carry you somewhere new. You do not always need a dramatic escape. You may need a quiet correction. Wake up earlier. Stop checking their message. Learn the new skill. Save the money. Speak the truth. Ask for help. Leave the harmful room. Return to prayer. Begin again. These steps may look small, but roads are built from steps. Your future may not arrive through one giant miracle. It may arrive through many small decisions made with courage. The closed door can also reveal your attachment to certainty. You want proof before moving. You want to know the new road will succeed. You want a guarantee that you will not feel pain again. But life rarely gives guarantees. Faith does not mean you know exactly what comes next. Faith means you keep choosing what is right with the knowledge you have. You may make a sincere decision and still face difficulty. You may choose the healthier road and still feel lonely for a while. You may leave what harmed you and still miss it. You may trust Allah and still cry. Missing something does not always mean you should return to it. Pain after leaving does not always mean leaving was wrong. Sometimes healing hurts because your heart is learning to live without what it once depended upon. A wound may ache when it is cleaned. That pain is different from the pain that created the wound. Learn to recognize the difference. The pain of growth is not the same as the pain of destruction. The pain of discipline is not the same as the pain of regret. The pain of letting go is not the same as the pain of remaining trapped. Both may hurt, but one pain is leading you toward freedom. Ask yourself which pain has a future. The closed door may be teaching you acceptance. Acceptance does not mean you approve of everything that happened. It does not mean the person was right. It does not mean the loss was fair. It means you stop fighting the fact that it happened. You stop waking up every day arguing with yesterday. You stop spending today demanding that the past become different. You admit, this happened, it hurt me, I wish it were different, but I must decide what I will do now. That is where your power returns. You cannot change the closed door, but you can choose whether you spend your life sitting beside it. You cannot force the old road to continue, but you can decide whether you will search for another path. You cannot make everyone understand, but you can refuse to abandon yourself while trying to explain. Acceptance is not weakness. It is the moment your energy stops feeding what cannot be changed and begins building what can. Perhaps you cannot change their choice, but you can change your boundary. Perhaps you cannot recover the lost time, but you can protect the time ahead. Perhaps you cannot receive the old opportunity, but you can prepare for the next one. Perhaps you cannot return to who you were, but perhaps you were never meant to. Some doors close because the person you are becoming can no longer live in the room you once begged to enter. This is a painful kind of growth. Your old dreams may no longer fit. Your old relationships may no longer feel honest. Your old habits may begin tasting empty. You may feel confused because you are no longer comfortable in the old life, but you have not yet reached the new one. This space between endings and beginnings can feel lonely. You are not who you were, but you do not yet know who you are becoming. Be patient in that space. Do not rush back simply because the new road feels unfamiliar. The old room may feel comfortable because you know where everything is, but comfort is not always a sign that you belong there. Sometimes you are only familiar with the pain. Give yourself time to adjust to freedom. Give your heart time to trust calmness. Give your mind time to build a new picture of the future. You do not have to know your entire new identity today. Growth often begins with one sentence. I can no longer continue like this. That sentence can become a doorway. It can become the beginning of better boundaries, better choices, better friendships, better discipline, a deeper relationship with Allah, a cleaner heart, a wiser life. Do not fear the empty space too much. An empty room can be prepared for something new. An empty page can hold a new story. An open hand can receive what a closed fist cannot. When one door closes, your first feeling may be loss, but after time, the same ending may begin to create space, space to think, space to heal, space to notice what you ignored, space to hear your own heart again, space to return to Allah without the noise of constant attachment. Space can feel uncomfortable when you are used to chaos, but silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes, silence is where direction becomes clear. Be careful not to fill the empty space too quickly. Do not run toward the first person who gives attention. Do not accept the first opportunity simply because you are afraid. Do not replace one attachment with another. Let the lessons settle. Ask yourself what the old road taught you. Where did you ignore the truth? Where did you abandon your values? Where did you stay silent when honesty was needed? Where did fear control your choice? Where did you depend too much on people? Where did you forget your own dignity? Do not only ask, why did the door close? Also ask, what must I learn before the next one opens? Without the lesson, you may enter a new door carrying the same old patterns. A new person will not fix an unhealed attachment. A new job will not fix a lack of discipline. A new city will not fix the thoughts you take with you. A new opportunity will not help if you repeat the same self-doubt. The purpose is not only to find another door, the purpose is to become wiser before entering it. Take responsibility without taking all the blame. This balance matters. You do not need to call yourself terrible. You do not need to believe every ending was your fault. But you should be brave enough to notice your part. Perhaps you ignored signs. Perhaps you spoke from anger. Perhaps you waited too long to set boundaries. Perhaps you depended on approval. Perhaps you stopped being honest with yourself. Learn without hating yourself. Correct yourself without crushing yourself. Regret should become a teacher, not a prison guard. Say, I made mistakes, but I can make better choices. Say, I stayed too long, but I can leave now. Say, I lost myself there, but I can begin returning. Say, I did not know better then. I am learning better now. Mercy allows you to grow without pretending you were perfect. The closed door may also prepare you to recognize the right one. After being in a room where you constantly had to prove your worth, you may finally understand the beauty of being respected. After living in confusion, you may recognize the value of clarity. After chasing, you may understand the peace of mutual effort. After forcing, you may appreciate what arrives with dignity. After noise, you may finally value calmness. Some lessons are painful because they sharpen your vision. You stop being impressed only by words. You begin watching actions. You stop being attracted only to excitement. You begin noticing consistency. You stop choosing what looks beautiful from far away. You begin asking whether it is healthy up close. This wisdom can protect your future. Do not become so bitter from one closed door that you fear every new one. Wisdom is not building walls around your whole heart. Wisdom is learning where to place the gate. You can remain open without becoming careless. You can love without losing yourself. You can hope without making one outcome your entire identity. You can trust people while remembering that all people are human. You can plan while leaving space for Allah's guidance. A closed door should make you wiser, not colder. Do not let disappointment steal the softness that pain was meant to deepen. Your heart does not need to become stone in order to become strong. Real strength can remain kind. Real wisdom can remain hopeful. Real boundaries can remain respectful. You are not required to become cruel simply because someone hurt you. You are not required to stop dreaming because one dream ended. You are not required to distrust every road because one road misled you. You can continue with more awareness. You can begin again with better eyes. There may come a day when you pass the old door again. You may remember how desperately you once knocked. You may remember the nights you believed nothing else could make you happy, and you may feel surprised, not because the door changed, but because you changed. What once looked like your only future may now look too small for the person you became. What once felt like total rejection may now feel like redirection. What once made you question your worth may now remind you how much you learned. This understanding may not come quickly. Do not force it. Some meanings only appear after distance. When you stand too close to a painting, you see only confusion. You must step back before the full picture becomes clear. Time may give you that distance. Healing may give you that distance. A new road may give you that distance. Until then, trust the next honest step. You do not need to call the closed door beautiful while it still hurts. You only need to refuse to believe it is the end of everything. Your journey is larger than one answer. Your identity is larger than one rejection. Your future is larger than one plan. There are roads you have not imagined, people you have not met, strengths you have not discovered, prayers you have not yet made, versions of yourself you have not yet become. Do not bury all of that beneath one ending. Turn around slowly. Look again. The road may not be where you expected, but that does not mean there is no road. Perhaps the closed door is not saying, your life is over. Perhaps it is saying, you cannot continue in this direction. Perhaps it is saving you from becoming smaller. Perhaps it is inviting you to grow. Perhaps it is asking you to release the future you forced, so you can begin noticing the future you were unable to imagine. So let the door be closed, if it must be closed. Do not break your hands trying to enter every place that refuses your peace. Do not lose your dignity begging every person to choose you. Do not call yourself forgotten because one plan disappeared. Stand up. Gather what the road taught you. Carry the wisdom, but leave the chains. Then take the next step. You may still be grieving. You may still feel afraid. You may still look backward sometimes, but keep walking. Because some paths end, not because your life is over, but because your journey needs a different road. And one day, you may thank Allah not only for the doors that opened, but also for the doors that refused to let you enter the life that was never meant to hold the person you were becoming. 5. The silence is teaching you to walk without constant signs. True faith grows when you continue doing what is right, even without immediate answers. A traveler once walked through a dark valley, carrying a small lamp. The lamp did not show him the whole road. It only showed the next few steps. He became frustrated and said, "Why can I not see the entire journey?" A wise man replied, "Because you do not need light for the whole road. You only need enough light to take the next honest step." Perhaps this is where you are now. You are asking for the whole answer, but life is giving you only the next step. You are asking to see the ending, but you are being shown only what to do today. You are asking for certainty, but the season is teaching you how to walk with faith. Silence can be one of the hardest tests of the heart. Pain is difficult, waiting is difficult, but silence creates a different kind of struggle. When there is no clear answer, your mind begins creating its own answers. You start wondering whether you have been forgotten. You question whether your prayers matter. You look for meaning in every small event. You search for signs in every conversation. You ask people to explain what only time may reveal. You may even begin thinking that if you do not feel something powerful, nothing is happening. But not every important work makes noise. A seed grows beneath the ground in complete silence. The soil does not announce when the roots begin forming. There is no applause when the first small change happens underground. From the outside, the field may look empty, but beneath the surface, something may already be preparing to rise. Your life can feel like that field. You pray, but nothing appears to move. You keep trying, but the door still looks closed. You remain patient, but the situation still looks the same. You ask for guidance, but you do not receive the clear feeling you expected. And because you cannot see movement, you begin believing there is no movement. Yet silence and emptiness are not always the same thing. A quiet season can still contain growth. A delayed answer can still contain wisdom. An unseen process can still be real. You may be standing above the soil, staring at an empty field, while your roots are growing in places your eyes cannot reach. The difficult lesson is this: you cannot build faith only on visible results, because visible results change. Today the door may open, tomorrow it may close. Today people may praise you, tomorrow they may misunderstand you. Today you may feel spiritually strong, tomorrow you may feel tired. If your faith depends only on what you see and feel, every changing season will change you with it. One good day will make you hopeful. One difficult day will make you lose hope. One kind word will make you feel valuable. One rejection will make you question your worth. One sign will make you trust. One silence will make you doubt. But a deeper faith learns to stand even when feelings change. It says, I may not understand this moment, but I still know what kind of person I want to be. It says, I may not see the outcome, but I can still choose honesty. It says, I may not know when relief will come, but I will not let pain turn me into someone I do not respect. This is not easy. It is much easier to do what is right when you immediately see a reward. It is easy to remain patient when the answer arrives quickly. It is easy to forgive when the other person apologizes. It is easy to remain hopeful when life gives you proof every morning. But what happens when the proof disappears? What happens when you choose kindness and no one notices? What happens when you keep your promise and the other person breaks theirs? What happens when you work hard and still do not receive the opportunity? What happens when you pray and the situation remains difficult? This is where your values become real. Anyone can act strong while life is supporting them, but character is revealed when the support is removed. The silence asks you a serious question. Will you continue doing what is right when no one promises you an immediate result? Will you remain honest when dishonesty looks easier? Will you guard your words when anger gives you many reasons to hurt someone? Will you keep your dignity when desperation tells you to chase what keeps rejecting you? Will you continue walking when you cannot see where the road ends? These moments train the heart. They remove the need for constant proof. They teach you that goodness is not valuable only when it produces quick results. Goodness is valuable because it protects who you are becoming. You may not control what comes back to you, but you can control what leaves you. You cannot control whether people appreciate your kindness, but you can control whether pain makes you cruel. You cannot control whether every prayer is answered in the form you expected, but you can control whether disappointment removes you from prayer. You cannot control whether life becomes clear today, but you can control whether confusion destroys your character. This is one of the greatest forms of inner strength. To remain clean inside while life feels unclear outside. Imagine a sailor traveling through thick fog. He cannot see the shore. He cannot see the full sea. He may not even see another ship, but he has a compass. The compass does not remove the fog. It does not make the journey comfortable. It does not show him everything. It simply keeps him from moving in the wrong direction. Your values can become that compass. Prayer can become that compass. Honesty can become that compass. Patience can become that compass. The knowledge that Allah sees what people do not see can become that compass. You may not have a full map, but you can still refuse to lose your direction. The problem begins when people stop trusting their compass and start following every light they see in the fog. A small light appears and they run toward it. A person gives them attention and they call it destiny. An opportunity arrives quickly and they assume it must be right. A feeling becomes powerful and they treat it as certain truth. But not every strong feeling is guidance. Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it is loneliness. Sometimes it is attachment. Sometimes it is the ego demanding comfort. This is why silence can be valuable. It teaches you to slow down. It teaches you not to turn every feeling into a command. It teaches you to ask whether something is right, not only whether it feels exciting. It teaches you to examine your choices with wisdom. You begin asking, does this choice protect my faith? Does it protect my dignity? Does it make me more honest? Does it make me more responsible? Does it create peace after the excitement fades? Does it require me to betray my values? These questions may not produce a magical answer, but they can protect you from following false signs. Sometimes people become addicted to signs because they are afraid to make decisions. They want something outside themselves to remove all responsibility. They say, give me one perfect sign and then I will act. But even when the sign appears, they ask for another one, then another. They keep waiting because no sign feels strong enough to remove every fear. Yet courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is making the wisest decision you can while accepting that you cannot know everything. You seek knowledge. You ask trustworthy people. You examine the situation You pray, you consider the consequences. Then you take the next step. Faith does not mean refusing to think. Faith does not mean ignoring reality. Faith does not mean waiting for a miracle while avoiding your responsibility. It means doing what is within your hands and trusting Allah with what is beyond them. The silence may be teaching you to stop asking for certainty that no human being can possess. You want to know whether the relationship will last forever. You want to know whether the opportunity will succeed. You want to know whether the move will solve everything. You want to know whether your effort will be rewarded exactly as you imagined. But life rarely gives these guarantees. Every important decision carries some uncertainty. Love carries risk. Growth carries risk. Beginning again carries risk. Remaining where you are also carries risk. You cannot remove uncertainty from life, but you can develop a heart that does not collapse because of it. Perhaps that is part of your training. You are not being taught how to control every tomorrow. You are being taught how to live today without being destroyed by tomorrow. The old version of you may have needed constant reassurance. You needed people to keep telling you everything would be fine. You needed signs to feel safe. You needed quick answers to remain calm. When those answers did not come, your mind imagined disaster. But the new version of you may be learning a different sentence. I do not know everything, but I know what I must do next. That sentence is simple, but it carries great power. You may not know whether the whole road will become easy, but you know you must tell the truth. You may not know when the sadness will leave, but you know you must care for your body and mind today. You may not know whether people will understand your decision, but you know you should not remain where your dignity is repeatedly harmed. You may not know exactly how Allah will help you, but you know you should not stop returning to Him. The next step may feel small, but small steps keep the heart alive. Get out of bed, wash your face, complete the responsibility in front of you. Pray even when your heart feels heavy. Speak gently even when you are tired. Do not answer the message while anger is controlling you. Do not return to what harms you simply because tonight feels lonely. Do not make a permanent decision during a temporary emotional storm. These are not dramatic victories. No one may clap for them. But your future can be changed by quiet decisions no one sees. There are battles that look ordinary from the outside. A person closes their phone instead of sending a cruel message. A person walks away instead of creating another argument. A person prays while feeling no emotional comfort. A person keeps working even after rejection. A person refuses to lie, though lying would make life easier. A person chooses rest instead of escaping through a harmful habit. These moments may look small, but they build the person you are becoming. Silence teaches you that growth does not always feel powerful. Sometimes, growth feels boring. It feels like repeating the same good action when no result appears. It feels like choosing patience for the 100th time. It feels like controlling your words again. It feels like beginning the day with faith, even though yesterday disappointed you. Many people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they become tired of doing the right thing without immediate reward. They stop watering the seed because the plant has not appeared. They stop walking because the road has not explained itself. They stop praying because the answer did not come quickly. But consistency often carries you where emotion cannot. Emotion is strong for a moment. Consistency remains after the moment passes. You do not need to feel inspired every day. You need a few honest actions that you continue even when inspiration disappears. Keep your prayer, keep your word, keep your boundaries, keep learning, keep correcting yourself, keep taking the next clean step. Some days, this may be all you can do, and it may be enough. The silence may also be teaching you that your feelings are visitors, not rulers. A feeling enters and says, nothing will ever change. But the feeling does not know the future. A feeling says, you have been forgotten. But the feeling does not see everything Allah sees. A feeling says, go back to the old place. At least it is familiar. But the feeling may be speaking from fear, not wisdom. The feeling says, make them understand right now. But forcing understanding may only create more pain. Feelings are real, But real does not always mean accurate. You should listen to your feelings, but you should not always obey them. You can say, I feel hopeless today, but I will not make hopeless choices. You can say, I feel rejected, but I will not treat myself as worthless. You can say, I feel confused, but I will not abandon what I know is right. You can say, I feel afraid, but fear will not choose the road for me. This is how emotional strength is built, not by denying what you feel, but by refusing to let every feeling control your actions. The heart becomes calmer when it learns that emotions can rise without becoming commands. A storm may shake the house, but it does not have to own the house. Sometimes, silence makes you feel that Allah is far away. You pray, but the prayer feels empty. You read words of faith, but your heart does not feel moved. You see others speaking about peace, while your own heart feels dry. This can make you ashamed. You may think, perhaps my faith is weak. But not every quiet spiritual season means failure. Human hearts change, energy changes, emotions rise and fall. Faith is not measured only by powerful feelings. Sometimes, faith is strongest when you continue worshipping without the emotional sweetness you once felt. You are no longer praying only because prayer makes you feel good. You are praying because you know where you belong. You are no longer doing good only because it fills you with energy. You are doing good because goodness still matters. This kind of faith may feel less dramatic, but it can become deeper. A person who visits only when the house is full of celebration is different from a person who remains when the room becomes quiet. Your heart may be learning how to remain. Do not chase emotional experiences until you forget simple obedience. You do not need every prayer to feel extraordinary. You do not need every day to contain a powerful sign. You do not need every verse to bring tears. Sometimes you simply show up. You stand. You pray. You speak honestly to Allah. You say, my heart feels tired, but I am still here. There is beauty in that honesty. You do not need to pretend before Allah. You can bring the confusion. You can bring the disappointment. You can bring the questions. Faith is not acting as if nothing hurts. Faith is knowing where to carry the hurt. The silence may not disappear immediately, but your relationship with silence can change. At first, silence feels like rejection. Later, it may become space. Space to listen. Space to examine your heart. Space to notice what noise helped you avoid. Some people keep their lives constantly loud because silence frightens them. They keep watching, talking, scrolling, chasing, and reacting. They never sit long enough to hear what is happening inside them. But when the noise stops, the hidden thoughts rise. Old pain returns. Unanswered questions appear. The heart reveals what it has been carrying. This can feel uncomfortable. Yet what rises in silence may be what needs healing. Perhaps you kept chasing attention because you feared being alone. Perhaps you kept working without rest because stillness made you feel unworthy. Perhaps you kept returning to the same person because silence made you face your emptiness. Perhaps you kept looking for signs because you did not trust yourself to make a wise choice. Silence may show you these things, not to shame you, but to free you. You cannot change the pattern you refuse to notice. When you finally see why you keep repeating the same behavior, you can begin choosing differently. The silence becomes a mirror, and mirrors are not always comfortable. They show you what noise allowed you to ignore. You may discover that your greatest fear is not failure. It is being unseen. You may discover that your greatest attachment is not the person. It is the feeling of being chosen. You may discover that your greatest pain is not the closed door. It is the belief that the closed door proves you are not enough. Once you understand the deeper wound, you stop treating only the surface. You stop begging every door to open. You begin healing the belief that your worth depends on entry. You stop chasing every person who becomes distant. You begin healing the fear that distance means you are unlovable. You stop asking for constant signs. You begin building a heart that can remain steady without them. This is slow work. It may not feel exciting, but deep healing is rarely loud. A river changes a rock through steady contact, not one violent moment. In the same way, small, honest choices can reshape the heart. One day of patience may not change everything, but many days of patience can create a different person. One honest prayer may not remove all confusion, but many honest prayers can deepen your trust. One boundary may feel weak, but each time you protect it, your dignity becomes stronger. The silence may also be protecting you from answers you are not yet ready to carry. Sometimes you want to know why someone left, but the full answer may only create more pain. You want to know exactly what people said. You want to know every hidden detail. You want to know whether they regret losing you. You tell yourself that knowledge will bring peace, but not every answer brings peace. Some answers create new questions. Some details become images your mind repeats for years. Some truths are useful, others only feed obsession. Wisdom is not knowing everything. Wisdom is knowing which knowledge helps you live better. Perhaps you do not need every explanation. Perhaps you need enough truth to choose your next step. The relationship was not healthy. The effort was not mutual. The door did not open. The situation repeatedly harmed your peace. These truths may already be enough. You may never receive the perfect apology. You may never hear the explanation you deserve. You may never know why someone behaved as they did. But your healing cannot remain locked inside another person's mouth. You cannot give someone permanent control over your peace by saying, "I can only move forward when they explain everything." Sometimes, closure is not a final conversation. It is a final decision. It is saying, "I may never understand all of it, but I understand enough to stop returning." The silence may be teaching you how to close a chapter without receiving every answer. This is painful because the mind dislikes unfinished stories. It wants a clear beginning, middle, and end. It wants good people to admit the truth. It wants unfairness to be corrected immediately. It wants every loss to make sense. But life does not always give clean endings. Some chapters stop in the middle of a sentence. Some people leave without explanation. Some plans disappear without giving you a reason. Your peace may depend on learning how to live with a few unanswered questions, not because the questions do not matter, but because your life matters too much to remain trapped inside them. You can carry a question without letting it carry you. You can say, "I do not know why this happened, but I know I must continue." You can say, "I do not understand what Allah is doing, but I will not abandon my values." You can say, "I still have questions, but I refuse to make confusion my home." The silence may also teach you humility. Sometimes you believe you know exactly what should happen. You say, "This is the only right answer." You say, "This person must remain." You say, "This opportunity must arrive now." You say, "My life can only become good through this one plan." But your knowledge is limited. You see what is in front of you. You do not see every consequence. You do not know how one answer will affect your character 5 years from now. You do not know which people you will meet because your road changes. You do not know what danger may hide inside an attractive opportunity. Humility says, "I have desires, but I do not possess complete knowledge." It does not destroy hope. It purifies hope. You still ask for what you want, but you leave room for wisdom greater than your own. You say, "This is what I hope for, but guide me toward what is truly good." That sentence can save the heart from making one desire into an idol. A desire becomes dangerous when you believe life has no meaning without it. You stop asking Allah for guidance. You begin demanding permission for what you already chose. You ignore every warning because the answer does not match your wish. Silence may interrupt that pattern. It may force you to loosen your grip. It may show you how much control you were trying to hold. And slowly, your prayer changes. At first you say, "Give me this exact thing." Later you say, "Give me what is good." At first you say, "Open this door." Later you say, "Guide my direction." At first you say, "Make this person stay." Later you say, "Protect my heart from what is not healthy." At first you say, "Show me the whole plan." Later you say, "Give me enough strength for today." This is not the death of hope. It is the birth of surrender. Surrender does not mean doing nothing. It means releasing the belief that everything must happen exactly as you planned before you can have peace. You still make effort. You still seek solutions. You still ask for help. You still correct what can be corrected. But you stop trying to control every human heart and every future result. The silence can become peaceful when you stop demanding that it explain itself every hour. A student does not interrupt the teacher after every sentence and ask, "What is the final lesson?" The lesson must unfold. Some understanding arrives only after you live through the chapter. While you are inside the storm, everything looks like disorder. Later, you may see the pattern. You may realize that the lonely season taught you independence. The delayed answer protected you from rushing. The unanswered question taught you how to live without another person's approval. The spiritual dryness taught you to worship with sincerity instead of emotion alone. The confusion taught you to seek wisdom rather than chase excitement. But you may not see these meanings today. Do not force yourself to understand too early. Fruit pulled from the tree before its time may look complete, yet still taste bitter. Understanding also has a time. Some lessons need distance. Some wounds need healing before their meaning becomes clear. Some answers would not help the person you are today. You may need to become stronger before you can carry them without breaking again. Until then, focus on what is clear. Do not harm people. Do not harm yourself. Do not make fear your leader. Do not let bitterness become your personality. Do not abandon your responsibilities. Do not close your heart to every good thing because one chapter hurt you. Keep your life clean while the answer remains hidden. That may be the lesson. The silence is not asking you to stop living. It is asking you to live without controlling every explanation. You can still laugh. You can still build. You can still love carefully. You can still dream. You can still make plans. You can still enjoy the blessings already present. Do not delay your entire life until one unanswered prayer becomes clear. Many people miss today because they are staring at one question about tomorrow. They receive kindness, but they do not notice it. They have food, health, shelter, or people who care, but one missing thing covers everything. They say, "I will be grateful when this answer comes." But gratitude does not mean ignoring what is missing. It means refusing to let what is missing hide everything that remains. The heart can carry hope and gratitude together. You can want change and still thank Allah for today. You can feel pain and still notice beauty. You can wait for one door while caring for the room you are already in. This balance protects you. It reminds you that your whole life is not trapped inside one unanswered matter. Look around gently. What is still working? Who is still kind? What ability do you still have? What small blessing keeps returning? What part of your life needs your care now? The answer you are waiting for may be important, but so is the life happening while you wait. Do not become absent from your own days. Silence can train you to become present. You stop trying to read the future every hour. You return to today. You ask, "What does this day require from me?" Perhaps it requires rest. Perhaps it requires work. Perhaps it requires an apology. Perhaps it requires distance. Perhaps it requires patience. Perhaps it requires one honest prayer. Tomorrow will bring its own responsibilities. You do not need to carry them all now. A person becomes exhausted when they try to solve 10 imaginary futures before breakfast. The mind creates scenes. What if this fails? What if they leave? What if I never recover? What if the answer never comes? These questions feel serious, but most of them are not happening now. Your body sits in one room while your mind suffers in 20 possible futures. Come back. Breathe. Ask what is true now. You are here. You are alive. You have this moment. There is one next step. Take it. Faith often becomes practical before it becomes emotional. Drink the water. Complete the task. Pray. Call the trustworthy person. Set the boundary. Sleep. Begin again tomorrow. The answer may remain silent, but your life does not have to stop. There will be days when the silence feels heavy again. Growth is not a straight road. You may feel peaceful for a week. Then one memory returns and shakes you. You may believe you have accepted the situation. Then one conversation brings the questions back. Do not treat this as failure. Healing moves like waves. Some days, the water becomes calm. Other days, it rises. Your task is not to control every wave. Your task is to keep returning to shore, return to prayer, return to truth, return to your values, return to the people who are safe, return to the habits that strengthen you, return to the sentence, "I do not need every answer to take the next right step." Repeat it until your heart remembers. One day, you may notice that the silence no longer frightens you as much. You no longer check every hour for a sign. You no longer ask everyone to predict your future. You no longer treat every delay as rejection. You no longer believe every difficult feeling. The situation may not have changed completely, but something inside you has. You have learned to sit with uncertainty without being consumed by it. You have learned that prayer still matters, even when it feels quiet. You have learned that character is more important than quick relief. You have learned that your worth does not disappear when the answer is delayed. You have learned that Allah's care is not measured only by how clearly you understand the day. This is the person silence may be building, a person who does not need constant applause to continue, a person who does not need every human being to understand, a person who can hold unanswered questions without losing faith, a person who can walk through fog while protecting their direction, a person who does not mistake quietness for abandonment. Perhaps the greatest sign is not something appearing outside you. Perhaps the greatest sign is who you are becoming inside. You are less desperate. You are more careful. You speak with greater wisdom. You do not chase as quickly. You do not panic as deeply. You can wait without destroying yourself. You can feel uncertain without becoming dishonest. You can pray without demanding an immediate explanation. That change may be the answer you were unable to recognize. You were looking for the road to become clear. But perhaps Allah was first making your heart steady enough to walk through unclear roads. You were looking for the storm to become silent. But perhaps your soul was learning how to become quiet inside the storm. You were looking for a sign that everything would change, but perhaps the first thing being changed was you. So do not fear this silence too quickly. Do not fill it with harmful choices. Do not run back to old pain because it is louder than the unknown. Do not accept a false answer simply because waiting feels uncomfortable. Stay close to what is right. Stay honest. Stay patient with yourself. Take advice from people who possess wisdom, not only strong opinions. Use your mind. Protect your faith. Give yourself permission not to know everything today. The lamp may not show you the entire road, but look carefully. It may still be showing you the next step. Take that step, then another. The answer may not come as thunder. It may come as a quieter heart, a stronger boundary, a wiser decision, a door you no longer feel desperate to open, a person you no longer need to chase, a fear that no longer controls your whole day. These changes are not small. They are the signs of a heart learning how to walk. And perhaps one day, when you finally understand why this season was so quiet, you will realize the silence was not empty. It was teaching you how to hear truth without noise, how to choose goodness without applause, how to keep walking without seeing the whole road, and how to trust Allah even when the answer had not yet reached your eyes. 6. The delay is training your heart not to force everything. Waiting can teach you patience, wisdom, and the humility to accept that not everything is in your control. A farmer once planted a seed and returned the next morning to see whether it had grown. Nothing had appeared. He returned the following day. Still nothing. After several days, he became impatient. He dug into the soil, pulled out the seed, and asked, "Why are you taking so long?" The seed had begun growing tiny roots. But because the farmer could not see the hidden work, he disturbed the very process he was waiting for. Sometimes this is what impatience makes you do. You keep touching what needs time. You keep opening what needs to remain closed. You keep questioning what is still developing. You keep returning to people you were trying to release. You keep changing your direction because the result did not appear quickly. And without realizing it, you may disturb the peace, discipline, or healing that had only just begun growing inside you. Delay is difficult because it places you between effort and result. You have already prayed. You have already tried. You have already waited longer than you expected. Yet the answer still feels far away. You see other people receiving the things you wanted. Someone finds the opportunity you worked for. Someone enters the relationship you prayed for. Someone moves forward while your life seems to remain in the same place. You congratulate them. You smile. But somewhere inside, a quiet question appears. Why is my turn taking so long? That question does not make you ungrateful. It makes you human. Waiting becomes painful when you cannot understand what it is producing. If someone told you the exact day your answer would arrive, perhaps you could breathe more easily. You would count the days. You would prepare. You would know the waiting had an ending. But most delays do not come with a date. They do not explain themselves. They do not tell you whether you need another week, another month, or another year. You are asked to keep living without knowing when the situation will change. That uncertainty can make the heart desperate, and desperation often whispers dangerous advice. Do something now. Accept anything. Run back. Force the conversation. Lower your standards. Take the shortcut. Push the door. Make them choose you. Desperation does not care whether the choice is wise. It only wants the discomfort to stop. That is why a person can wait for something healthy for a long time, then destroy their progress through one impatient decision. They become tired of loneliness and return to someone who repeatedly hurt them. They become tired of financial pressure and accept an opportunity that violates their values. They become tired of rejection and begin pretending to be someone they are not. They become tired of silence and send the message they promised themselves they would never send again. They become tired of feeling behind and rush into a life they are not ready to carry. The delay did not defeat them. Their need to escape the delay did. Waiting does not only test how badly you want something, it reveals what you are willing to become in order to receive it. Will you become dishonest? Will you abandon your dignity? Will you ignore your values? Will you hurt other people? Will you accept what your heart knows is wrong? Or will you remain patient enough to protect the person you are becoming? This is why patience is not passive. Patience is not sitting with folded hands while life passes. Patience is active strength. It means continuing to work without demanding instant results. It means protecting your character while your emotions are tired. It means refusing to trade a lasting blessing for a quick escape. It means carrying uncertainty without allowing uncertainty to carry you into the wrong direction. A person may appear still from the outside while doing great work inside. They are learning, saving, healing, praying, correcting old habits, building discipline, understanding themselves, strengthening their boundaries, preparing for an opportunity that has not yet appeared. This is not empty waiting. This is preparation, but preparation can feel invisible. No one applauds the day you choose not to return to an unhealthy person. No one sees the evening you study while everyone else is resting. No one celebrates the small amount of money you save. No one notices the anger you control. No one knows how many times you wanted to give up, but quietly continued. Yet these hidden choices may be building the life you are asking for. You may think nothing is happening because nothing has arrived. But arrival is not the only kind of progress. Sometimes progress means you no longer react as you once did. Sometimes progress means your standards have become clearer. Sometimes progress means you can sit alone without returning to what damaged you. Sometimes progress means you are finally learning the skill your future will require. Sometimes progress means you have stopped begging people to recognize your worth. The outer door may still be closed, but the person standing before it is changing, and that change matters. Perhaps you are not only waiting for the opportunity, perhaps the opportunity is waiting for a wiser version of you, not because you must become perfect. No one becomes perfect before receiving something good. But some blessings require responsibility. A larger role requires discipline. A healthy relationship requires honesty and patience. Financial growth requires wisdom. Influence requires humility. A peaceful home requires emotional maturity. A new beginning may require you to stop carrying old patterns into every new place. You may be praying for something your current habits would struggle to protect. You ask for success, but you still run whenever life becomes difficult. You ask for love, but you have not learned how to communicate without fear. You ask for peace, but you keep inviting chaos back into your life. You ask for more, but you do not care properly for what is already in your hands. Again, this does not mean every delay is caused by a personal weakness. Life is not that simple. Good people can wait. Prepared people can wait. Hard-working people can still face closed doors. But waiting can always become an opportunity to examine yourself. Instead of asking only, "When will it come?" ask, "Who am I becoming while I wait? Am I becoming bitter? Am I becoming desperate? Am I becoming careless? Or am I becoming wiser? Am I learning to control my words? Am I learning to protect my peace? Am I learning to make decisions without panic? Am I learning that my worth does not depend on speed?" This question returns power to you. You may not control the date of the answer, but you can influence the quality of the person who receives it. Imagine giving a sharp tool to a child. The tool itself may be useful, but in unprepared hands, it can cause harm. In wiser hands, the same tool can build something beautiful. Many things in life are like that. Money can help or corrupt. Attention can encourage or feed the ego. Love can heal or become control. Leadership can serve people or destroy humility. The blessing is not always the problem. The condition of the heart carrying it matters. Sometimes you are asking Allah to change your circumstances while the delay is changing your hands. Your hands may need to become steadier. Your heart may need to become less desperate. Your intentions may need to become cleaner. Your identity may need to become stronger. Because when you believe one thing must arrive for you to feel complete, you may hold it too tightly when it comes. You may become afraid of losing it. You may control it. You may worship it emotionally. You may forget who you were before it arrived. Delay can teach you how to receive without becoming dependent. It can teach you that a gift is beautiful, but it is not your entire identity. A person can be precious, but they are not the source of your worth. An opportunity can change your life, but it is not the owner of your future. Success can expand your reach, but it cannot heal every hidden wound. When the heart learns this before receiving, it can hold the blessing with open hands. It can appreciate without worshipping. It can love without disappearing. It can succeed without becoming arrogant. It can lose without losing itself completely. The delay may be teaching your heart this kind of freedom. There is a difference between desire and dependence. Desire says, "I hope this happens." Dependence says, "I cannot be whole unless this happens." Desire can wait with sadness and still continue living. Dependence makes one unanswered matter cover every other blessing. Desire allows wisdom. Dependence creates panic. Desire says, "I will work for this." Dependence says, "I will become anyone to get this." Be honest about what your desire has become. Has it become the center of every prayer? Has it become the first thought when you wake up? Has it become the measure of whether Allah cares for you? Has it become the reason you cannot enjoy anything else? Has one missing thing made you blind to everything still present? You may need to release the belief that your life cannot begin until this arrives. Your life is already happening. Your days are not empty pages waiting for one person to write upon them. Your value is not waiting inside an employer's answer. Your peace is not trapped inside a future home. Your identity is not hidden inside a number, title, or relationship. You can prepare for tomorrow without refusing to live today. That is one of the lessons of delay. The future matters, but today is also part of your life. Do not sacrifice every present blessing at the altar of one future hope. Look at what is still in your hands: a body that needs care, a mind that can learn, a prayer you can make, a skill you can develop, a family member you can appreciate, a responsibility you can complete, a mistake you can correct, a habit you can leave, a small opportunity you can honor. These things may not look like the answer, but they may be the road toward it. People often want a dramatic door while ignoring the small steps that lead there. They ask for a new career while refusing to learn. They ask for confidence while avoiding every uncomfortable action. They ask for peace while feeding their mind constant noise. They ask for change while repeating the same day. Then they call the result a delay. Sometimes the answer is waiting behind work you have not yet accepted. Patience does not remove action. It protects action from panic. You can wait and still apply. Wait and still study. Wait and still improve your health. Wait and still meet trustworthy people. Wait and still build. Wait and still apologize. Wait and still begin. The difference is that you act without trying to command the result. You do your part without believing the world must respond immediately. A farmer cannot pull the crops out of the ground, but the farmer must still prepare the soil, water the field, remove weeds, protect the young plants. Waiting without work becomes avoidance. Work without patience becomes force. Wisdom holds both. Do what belongs to your hands. Release what does not. This sounds simple, but it may be one of the hardest balances in life. The ego wants control. It wants a clear connection between action and reward. I did this, so I should receive that. I prayed, so the answer should come now. I was loyal, so they should stay. I worked hard, so I should succeed. I was kind, so people should treat me fairly. But life does not always follow these simple exchanges. You can be kind and still be misunderstood. You can work hard and still face rejection. You can love sincerely and still experience loss. You can make a wise decision and still feel pain afterward. Doing what is right does not purchase control over every outcome. Goodness protects your character. Effort increases possibility. Prayer connects your heart to Allah. But none of these makes you the controller of every result. This truth can feel uncomfortable, yet it can also free you, because when you stop believing you must control everything, you stop blaming yourself for everything. You begin understanding the difference between responsibility and power. You are responsible for speaking honestly. You are not powerful enough to control how everyone receives the truth. You are responsible for making effort. You cannot control every decision made by another person. You are responsible for correcting your mistakes. You cannot return to yesterday and rewrite it. You are responsible for seeking help. You cannot force healing to follow your preferred schedule. You are responsible for planting wisely. You cannot command the rain. This humility does not make you weak. It makes you real. There is great exhaustion in pretending everything depends upon you. You carry every future. You replay every decision. You imagine every disaster. You believe one wrong step will destroy your whole life. You stay awake trying to solve things that do not yet exist. Your body lies in bed, but your mind runs through years of possible pain. What if I never receive it? What if they choose someone else? What if I fail again? What if my life remains this way? The mind demands answers that today cannot give. And because no answer comes, fear grows. Return to what is real. What can you do today? Not next year, not in every possible future. Today, can you send one application? Can you learn one lesson? Can you save one small amount? Can you pray honestly? Can you avoid one harmful choice? Can you speak to one trustworthy person? Can you rest before making a serious decision? Can you complete the task directly in front of you? The next step may not solve the entire problem, but it can keep the problem from swallowing your entire life. You do not need enough strength for the whole year today. You need enough strength for this day. Tomorrow will come with its own strength, lessons, and responsibilities. Delay becomes heavier when you try to carry all of it at once. A person waiting for one answer often creates hundreds of imaginary conversations. They imagine what they will say, what the other person will say, how life will change, how life might fail. They experience the same uncertainty again and again without any new information. This is not preparation, it is emotional exhaustion. You are allowed to stop rehearsing a future you cannot yet control. You are allowed to say, I will deal with that moment when it arrives. This does not mean you are careless. It means you trust your future self to meet future responsibilities. The person you will be tomorrow may have knowledge you do not possess today. They may be calmer. They may have support. They may see a door you cannot see now. Do not demand that today's version of you solve every problem your future version may face. Give yourself space to grow. The delay itself may be part of that growth. Think about the person you were 1 year ago. There were things that frightened you then that you now handle more calmly. There were questions you believed would destroy you, yet you lived through them. There were moments you thought you could not survive, yet here you are. You may not feel powerful, but your presence is evidence that fear does not always predict truth. You have already crossed days your mind once called impossible. Remember this when waiting feels endless. Your past contains proof that difficult seasons can change, not always in the way you expected, not always as quickly as you wanted, but seasons do not remain forever. Even when circumstances remain, your relationship with them can change. You become wiser, you build support, you learn boundaries, you discover options, you stop feeding the thoughts that once controlled you. Sometimes, the answer is not that the weight disappears, it is that you learn how to carry it without losing yourself. Delay can teach this slowly. At first, every day feels like a battle. You check constantly, you wait for the call, you open the message, you look for movement, you measure your worth against the silence. Then, over time, something may shift. You still care, but you stop checking every minute. You still hope, but you begin enjoying other parts of life. You still pray, but your prayer becomes less desperate and more trusting. You still want the door, but you no longer stand outside it begging until your dignity disappears. This is not giving up. It is emotional maturity. You are learning to desire without being consumed, to wait without becoming frozen, to hope without forcing, to act without controlling. The answer may not have arrived, but the delay is no longer controlling every breath. That is a kind of freedom. Sometimes people fear this freedom. They believe that if they stop worrying, the desire will disappear. They think anxiety proves they care. They think constant pain proves loyalty. They believe letting go of control means abandoning hope. But worry is not a form of effort. Anxiety does not make the answer come faster. Suffering every hour does not prove your prayer is sincere. You can care deeply and still breathe. You can hope strongly and still sleep. You can love and still set boundaries. You can desire and still release control. Peace does not cancel your dream. It protects you while the dream remains unanswered. Ask yourself whether you are waiting or punishing yourself. Waiting says, I am open to what comes. Punishment says, I do not deserve joy until it comes. Waiting says, I will continue preparing. Punishment says, my entire life must stop. Waiting says, this matters to me. Punishment says, nothing else matters. Do not make the delay crueler than it already is. You may not control the answer, but you can choose how you speak to yourself during the silence. Do not call yourself a failure because your timing is different. Do not call yourself forgotten because someone else arrived first. Do not call yourself unworthy because one door has not opened. Speed is not always proof of favor. Delay is not always proof of rejection. A fast road can lead to regret. A slow road can build understanding. You cannot measure your whole life using another person's calendar. Perhaps they received something earlier because their road is different. Perhaps you are being protected from a comparison that does not belong to you. You do not know what their blessing requires from them. You do not know the battles hidden behind what you see. You do not know whether their life would fit your heart. Comparison removes the details and shows you only the result. You see the wedding, not the work inside the marriage. You see the promotion, not the pressure of the role. You see the money, not the sacrifices, fears, or responsibilities attached to it. You see the applause, not the loneliness that may follow attention. Do not envy a picture when you do not know the whole story. Your delay may contain a mercy that comparison cannot show you. Perhaps more time is allowing you to notice something you would have ignored. Perhaps it is giving you room to change direction. Perhaps it is protecting you from accepting the first thing that looks like an answer. A thirsty person may drink from any cup. Desperation can make danger look like relief. That is why the heart needs calmness before major choices. When you are desperate to escape loneliness, any attention can look like love. When you are desperate to escape financial pressure, Any offer can look like opportunity. When you are desperate to prove yourself, any applause can look like worth. When you are desperate for change, any road can look like guidance. Delay may slow you down long enough to ask better questions. Not only, can I have this? But, is this healthy? Not only, do they want me? But, do they respect me? Not only, will this make me successful? But, what will it make me become? Not only, is the door open? But, where does the door lead? Open doors require wisdom too. Not every available path deserves your feet. Not every person who arrives deserves your heart. Not every quick answer deserves your trust. Waiting can sharpen your vision. You begin seeing beyond words. You watch consistency. You notice character. You examine the cost. You stop being impressed only by beginnings. You ask whether something can remain good after excitement disappears. These questions may prevent years of pain. So while you wait, do not only prepare to receive, prepare to recognize. A blessing may arrive in a form you did not expect. If your eyes are fixed on one exact picture, you may reject a good road because it looks unfamiliar. You asked for a certain job, but perhaps the useful opportunity begins smaller. You asked for immediate success, but perhaps the first answer is a skill, teacher, or difficult lesson. You asked for companionship, but perhaps the season first brings you a stronger relationship with yourself and Allah. You asked for a new life, but perhaps the first change is the ending of an old habit. The answer may begin as responsibility before it feels like reward. It may arrive as a chance to serve, a chance to learn, a chance to begin at the bottom, a chance to leave what feels safe. If you expect every blessing to arrive beautifully wrapped, you may overlook the work that carries it. Many answers enter life quietly. They do not announce, "I am the thing you prayed for." They appear as an ordinary conversation, a small opening, a difficult choice, a new routine, a person offering honest advice, a moment when you finally say no. The delay can teach you to notice these beginnings. You stop waiting only for thunder. You begin respecting small rain. You learn that a major life can grow from simple steps repeated faithfully. There is also a delay between planting and becoming. You may begin a new habit today, but your identity does not change overnight. You pray once and still feel anxious. You set one boundary and still feel guilty. You study for 1 week and still feel unprepared. You leave one harmful relationship and still miss the person. You save money for 1 month and still feel far from your goal. Do not call the process useless because the old feelings remain. Change often happens beneath repetition. Each good action sends a message to your mind. This is who we are becoming. The message may need to be repeated many times before the heart believes it. You cannot spend years building one pattern and expect it to disappear in 3 days. Be patient with your own healing. Do not force yourself to become strong instantly. Forced healing often becomes hidden pain. You pretend you are fine. You speak as if nothing matters. You rush into a new chapter to prove you have moved on. But the unhealed wound follows you. It enters the new relationship, the new job, the new home, the new friendship. You changed the room, but carried the same fear into it. Healing needs honesty. Some days you will feel better. Other days the pain will return. This does not mean you have lost all progress. A wound can ache while healing. A road can curve without returning to the beginning. You may miss someone and still know you should not return. You may feel afraid and still make a wise decision. You may cry and still be strong. Do not force healing into a performance. You are not required to convince everyone that you are fine. Give your heart time to become honest again. Delay may be teaching tenderness toward yourself. You may speak to yourself in ways you would never speak to someone you love. You are behind. You always fail. No one will choose you. You wasted your life. Nothing will change. These words do not prepare you. They weaken you. Correction is useful. Cruelty is not. You can admit that you made mistakes without calling yourself a mistake. You can feel disappointed without insulting your entire life. You can recognize lost time without deciding all future time is lost. Speak with truth. I am not where I hope to be, but I can still move. This delay hurts, but it does not prove I am worthless. I made choices I regret, but I am capable of learning. I do not know when the answer will come, but I can care for myself today. Your inner voice becomes especially important during waiting because external reassurance may become quiet. You must learn not to become your own enemy. The world may already feel heavy. Do not add unnecessary cruelty inside your mind. This does not mean filling yourself with false praise. It means speaking with fairness. A tree does not insult itself because fruit has not appeared in winter. It understands seasons. You also have seasons. Seasons of planting, seasons of learning, seasons of losing, seasons of rebuilding, seasons of receiving. You may be judging a planting season by the standards of harvest. You look at the empty branches and call yourself a failure. But the branches may be resting, the roots may be deepening, the tree may be preparing for fruit that cannot grow in winter. Not every season is supposed to look productive from the outside. Some seasons protect what will become visible later. Rest can be part of preparation. Silence can be part of preparation. Grief can be part of preparation. Learning who not to trust can be part of preparation. Learning your limits can be part of preparation. Do not glorify constant exhaustion. You are not more valuable because you never stop. Sometimes forcing is disguised as discipline. You keep pushing because you are afraid that resting means losing. You ignore your health. You stop sleeping. You become harsh with everyone. You tell yourself that suffering proves commitment. But a burned-out heart cannot carry a beautiful answer wisely. Rest is not always delay. Sometimes rest prevents collapse. Even the strongest person needs moments when the weight is placed down. You are allowed to pause without quitting. You are allowed to breathe without abandoning your goal. You are allowed to have one slow day without calling your whole life lazy. Healthy patience includes caring for the person who is waiting. Waiting becomes dangerous when you disappear from your own care. You stop eating properly. You stop moving your body. You isolate yourself. You refuse help. You believe you must carry everything alone. But patience does not mean silent suffering without support. Ask for help. Speak to someone trustworthy. Seek professional support when the weight becomes too heavy. Let people sit with you, even when they cannot solve the problem. Needing support does not mean your faith has failed. Human beings are created with limits. Wisdom includes knowing when your own strength is not enough. The lesson is not that you must control everything alone. The lesson is that you cannot control everything at all. That includes accepting help. Sometimes, control looks like refusing assistance because you want the process to happen only your way. You say no one understands, perhaps not completely, but someone may understand enough to help you carry one part. Do not reject a small mercy because it does not solve everything. A glass of water does not end the whole journey, but it can help you take the next mile. Accept the small supports Allah places in your path. A kind conversation, a useful book, a peaceful morning, a friend checking on you, a chance to learn, a moment of laughter. These things may not be the final answer, but they can keep your heart alive while you wait. The delay may also be teaching you to separate timing from worth. This lesson is essential. A late answer is not proof that you are less valuable. A person choosing someone else does not reduce your human worth. A company rejecting your application does not decide your intelligence. A goal taking longer does not erase your effort. The world often celebrates speed, young success, fast growth, immediate results. People show the arrival and hide the years before it. This can make slow growth feel shameful, but roots do not compete with flowers. One tree may bloom early, another may grow deeper first. Their seasons are not insults to each other. Your road does not need to copy another person's road to have meaning. You may arrive later with greater wisdom. You may receive less and protect it better. You may take longer and become more stable. There is no honor in speed if speed carries you into a life you cannot sustain. Do not rush simply to silence people who are not responsible for your future. They may ask questions, When will you succeed? When will you marry? When will you move? When will you become something? Their questions can make your delay feel like public failure, but they do not live inside your consequences. They may praise the decision today and leave you alone with its cost tomorrow. Do not choose a lifelong road to avoid a temporary conversation. You are allowed to move according to wisdom, not pressure. You are allowed to say, "I am still preparing." You are allowed not to explain every detail. You are allowed to protect your private struggles. People may misunderstand your timing. Let them. A peaceful decision misunderstood by others is better than a harmful decision made for their approval. The need to prove yourself is another form of forcing. You want visible success, so the people who doubted you will regret it. You imagine the day they see your growth. This thought may motivate you for a while, but it also keeps your future tied to their opinion. What happens if they never notice? What happens if they remain unimpressed? Will your success lose its meaning? Do not build your dream around revenge. Build it around purpose. Build it around service. Build it around becoming responsible with the abilities Allah gave you. The people who doubted you do not deserve to become the hidden owners of your ambition. Release them. Your answer does not need to humiliate anyone. Your growth does not need an audience. Some of the most beautiful changes happen quietly. You become calmer. You choose better friends. You protect your prayer. You stop lying to yourself. You no longer need to win every argument. You learn how to leave without creating destruction. These victories may not impress the world, but they may save your life from becoming controlled by the wrong things. Delay can shift your definition of success. At first, success may mean receiving exactly what you want. Later, success may mean keeping your character while waiting. Success may mean not returning to what harmed you. Success may mean building discipline before opportunity arrives. Success may mean accepting an answer you did not choose without becoming bitter. Success may mean continuing to trust Allah while admitting that you feel tired. The result matters, but the person formed along the road matters too. You may reach the goal and discover that the greatest gift was not the goal itself. It was the patience you developed, the wisdom you gained, the relationships you learned to value, the habits you built, the false attachments you released, the deeper faith that grew when nothing was guaranteed. The delay may be giving you things the immediate answer could never teach. An immediate answer can satisfy desire. A delay can transform character. Again, this does not mean you must love waiting. You can dislike the season. You can ask Allah for relief. You can pray for the door to open soon. You do not need to pretend delay feels beautiful, but you can refuse to waste it. Painful time can still become meaningful time. Ask, what can I learn here? Not as a way of blaming yourself, but as a way of preventing pain from becoming empty. Perhaps you need to learn how to communicate. Perhaps you need to become financially wiser. Perhaps you need to forgive yourself. Perhaps you need to stop chasing people. Perhaps you need to rebuild your connection with Allah. Perhaps you need to discover who you are without constant approval. The answer will be different for each person, but there is almost always something the waiting can reveal. Delay reveals your hidden agreements. You may have silently agreed, I will trust Allah only when life follows my plan. I will feel valuable only when people choose me. I will be grateful only when I have more. I will begin living only when my problem disappears. These agreements make peace impossible because life will never remain under your control. Even after one answer arrives, another uncertainty appears. You receive the job, then fear losing it. You enter the relationship, then fear rejection. You achieve the goal, then fear becoming irrelevant. If peace always waits for perfect certainty, peace will always remain in the future. The delay may be breaking this agreement. It may be teaching you to find steadiness before everything becomes clear, to pray before everything improves, to care for your heart before someone chooses it, to be grateful before every desire is fulfilled, to live before every question is answered. This does not remove ambition. It gives ambition a healthier place. You continue moving toward the future, but you stop sacrificing your soul to reach it. There will be moments when patience feels impossible. On those days, make patience smaller. Do not tell yourself, I must survive the next 5 years. Tell yourself, I will protect my heart today. Do not say, I must never feel afraid again. Say, I will not let fear make this decision. Do not say, I must understand the whole plan. Say, I will take the next responsible step. Large patience is built from small moments. 1 hour when you do not send the message. 1 morning when you get up despite disappointment. 1 evening when you stop comparing. 1 decision to rest instead of panic. 1 prayer made with an honest heart. You may not feel strong during these moments, but strength is not always a feeling. Sometimes, strength is simply the action you take while feeling weak. A person who feels no temptation may find restraint easy. The person who feels the pull strongly and still says no is building something deeper. A person who never doubts may walk easily. The person who feels uncertain and still chooses truth is learning faith. Do not judge your strength only by how calm you feel. Look at what you continue doing while your heart shakes. Perhaps you are stronger than your emotions allow you to notice. You are still here, still trying, still praying, still searching for a better way, still refusing to become completely bitter. That matters. The delay has not emptied you of all hope. Some part of you still believes another road exists. Protect that part. Feed it with truth. Do not feed it false guarantees. No one can promise that every desire will arrive exactly as you imagined, but you can believe that one unanswered desire does not end the meaning of your life. You can believe that Allah's wisdom is larger than your present view. You can believe that new possibilities may exist beyond the picture you created. Hope is not saying, everything will happen my way. Hope is saying, even if the road changes, goodness is still possible. This kind of hope can survive disappointment. It is flexible without becoming weak. It can release one plan without releasing faith. It can grieve and continue. Perhaps the delay is training your hope to become deeper. The old hope depended on one outcome. The new hope depends on Allah. The old hope said, this door or nothing. The new hope says, guide me toward what is good, even if I cannot see it yet. The old hope demanded a date. The new hope asks for strength to continue. The old hope became angry when the plan changed. The new hope remains open to a road it never imagined. This is not easy surrender. It may come after many tears. You may need to release the same desire repeatedly. One day, you feel peaceful. The next day, you grip it again. That is normal. Surrender is not always one decision. Sometimes it is a daily practice. You wake up and say, I still want this, but I will not let it own me. You pray and say, I still hope, but I trust your wisdom more than my picture. You take action and say, I will work, but I will not force. You feel fear and say, I cannot control tomorrow, but I can choose faith today. Each repetition loosens the grip. Slowly, the heart becomes softer, not empty of desire, free from slavery to desire. That freedom prepares you for both answers. If the door opens, you enter with gratitude rather than desperation. If the door remains closed, you grieve without believing your entire life is over. You become able to receive and release. This is one of the strongest hearts a person can build. A heart that loves deeply without worshipping what it loves. A heart that hopes strongly without demanding control. A heart that works sincerely without making results its God. A heart that can say, I wanted this, but I still belong to Allah without it. One day, the delay may end. The call may come. The opportunity may appear. The answer may become clear. The person may arrive. The road may finally open. And perhaps you will realize that the waiting changed how you receive it. You are no longer the person who would have destroyed their peace trying to keep it. You are no longer the person who would have ignored every warning. You are no longer the person who needed it to prove their worth. You can hold it with gratitude. You can protect it with wisdom. You can enjoy it without fear controlling every moment. Then you may understand that preparation was also part of the answer. But sometimes the answer does not come in the form you wanted. The relationship does not return. The opportunity passes. The dream changes. The door remains closed, And yet, years later, you may still understand the delay. You may realize it gave you time to become someone who could choose differently. You may discover another road that would have remained invisible if the first one opened. You may meet people you never would have met. You may build a life that does not resemble your old plan, but carries a peace you did not know how to ask for. This is not guaranteed in a simple or immediate way. Some losses remain painful. Some questions stay unanswered. Some roads are difficult for a long time. Faith does not require you to create a beautiful explanation for every wound. It asks you not to let the wound become the only truth about your life. Even without a full explanation, you can continue. Even without receiving what you wanted, you can remain valuable. Even if one future disappears, another future can still be built. The delay may not explain everything, but it can teach you that control was never the same as safety. You may have believed that if you could control every detail, nothing would hurt. But some of your deepest pain came from trying to hold what was already leaving. Some of your greatest exhaustion came from trying to manage other people's feelings. Some of your longest nights came from attempting to solve a future that had not happened. Control promised peace, but it often produced fear, because the more you try to control, the more things you discover that cannot be controlled. Other people's choices, timing, loss, change, aging, unexpected events. The heart cannot carry the whole world. It was never asked to. Your task is not to hold every outcome. Your task is to walk with sincerity through the outcome you receive, to respond with wisdom, to seek help, to keep your values, to return to Allah, to begin again when necessary. Humility means understanding your size without believing you are worthless. You are small before the whole future, but your choices still matter. You cannot command the sea, but you can guide your boat. You cannot stop every storm, but you can strengthen the sail. You cannot decide the wind, but you can avoid steering toward rocks. This is the balance. You are neither powerless nor all-powerful. You have responsibility, but not total control. You have choices, but not complete knowledge. You have effort, but not guaranteed results. When your heart accepts this, it becomes lighter. You stop trying to perform Allah's role in your own life. You stop demanding that your limited mind understand every part of the plan. You begin doing what you can with more peace. You pray, you think, you seek advice, you take action. Then you release the part that belongs beyond you. The release may need to happen 100 times. That is okay. Each time fear returns, release again. Each time comparison enters, return again. Each time desperation says, force it, pause again. Ask yourself, will this action protect my dignity tomorrow? Am I acting from wisdom or panic? Am I doing my part, or am I trying to control another person's part? Will I respect this decision when the emotion becomes quiet? These questions create space between feeling and action. That space can save you from many regrets. You do not have to obey the first urge. You do not have to answer immediately. You do not have to decide while angry. You do not have to return because tonight feels lonely. You can wait 1 hour, sleep 1 night, pray, write your thoughts, speak to someone wise. A delayed decision can protect you from an impulsive life. Perhaps this lesson is larger than the answer you are waiting for. Perhaps the waiting is teaching you a skill you will need many times, because this will not be the last uncertain season. Life will continue bringing moments when you cannot control the outcome. People will change, plans will shift, bodies will become tired, children will grow, opportunities will come and leave. If your peace survives only when everything obeys you, every change will break you. But if you learn to remain grounded while life moves, you carry a peace that circumstances cannot easily steal. This does not mean you never feel upset. You will still feel disappointment. You will still ask questions. You will still have days when patience feels thin. The goal is not to become emotionless. The goal is to stop allowing emotion to control every direction. You can feel pain and remain wise. You can feel urgency and still pause. You can feel fear and still choose dignity. You can feel disappointed and still speak kindly. This is the new version of you being trained. The old version forced, because it believed delay meant danger. The new version can wait long enough to see clearly. The old version chased because silence felt like rejection. The new version understands that not every absence deserves pursuit. The old version lowered every standard to escape loneliness. The new version knows temporary loneliness is better than lasting harm. The old version needed instant proof. The new version can continue with faith, effort, and patience. The answer may still be delayed, but you are no longer becoming smaller while waiting. You are becoming more stable, more honest, more aware, more difficult to manipulate, less controlled by urgency, less willing to exchange your values for relief. That is not wasted time. One day, you may face an open door and feel no need to rush through it. You will examine it, pray, ask questions, notice the cost. You will not be blinded by the fact that it opened. You will ask where it leads. That wisdom may save you, and it may have been born inside the very delay you once hated. So do not dig up every seed because you cannot yet see the flower. Do not interrupt every healing process because progress is quiet. Do not abandon every road because it takes longer than expected. Do not force what repeatedly asks for time, wisdom, and patience. Keep working where work is possible. Keep resting where rest is necessary. Keep praying when the heart becomes tired. Keep releasing what you cannot control. Let the delay teach you, rather than consume you. Let it teach you that waiting is not the same as being forgotten. That movement is not always visible. That speed is not always mercy. That force is not the same as faith. That your worth is not decided by timing. And that one unanswered prayer does not make your entire life unanswered. You may still want the door to open. You may still ask for relief. You may still feel tired of the uncertainty. Bring all of that honestly to Allah. Then say, I will continue doing what is right, even while I wait. I will not let desperation choose for me. I will not destroy my dignity to escape one lonely season. I will prepare without trying to control every result. I will trust that my limited sight is not the whole reality. This is patience, not silence without feeling, not weakness, not doing nothing. Patience is the strength to remain faithful to what is right when the result is taking longer than your heart expected. It is the wisdom to know when to act and when to stop pushing. It is the humility to admit that not everything belongs inside your control. And perhaps when this season finally changes, you will see that the delay was not only holding something away from you, it was removing panic from you, removing desperation from you, removing your need to force love, timing, opportunity, and people. It was teaching your heart how to work without controlling, how to hope without demanding, how to wait without disappearing, how to receive without worshipping, and how to continue living beautifully even before the answer arrived. 7. You may leave this storm stronger than it found you. The greatest change may not be an easier life, but a calmer heart that no longer breaks the same way. A potter once placed a soft piece of clay inside a burning oven. The clay did not understand the heat. It only knew that everything around it had become painful. It may have asked, "Why am I being placed here?" But when the oven opened, the clay was no longer soft enough to lose its shape whenever someone touched it. The fire had not erased the clay, it had strengthened what the potter had formed. Perhaps your storm is doing something similar. You may still be standing inside the heat. You may still feel the pressure. You may still be asking when this difficult season will finally end. But perhaps the greatest result will not only be that the storm passes. Perhaps the greatest result will be that you are no longer the same person when it does. You may leave with a steadier heart, a clearer mind, stronger boundaries, deeper faith, and a peace that no longer disappears whenever life refuses to follow your plan. Most people enter a storm asking one question: how can I escape this? But with time, another question may begin rising: who am I becoming inside this? That question changes everything, because escaping pain is not always within your immediate control, but how you respond to pain can slowly shape the person who comes out of it. You cannot always stop the wind. You cannot always reopen the door, You cannot force people to remain. You cannot command every answer to arrive. But you can decide whether disappointment will make you wiser or more bitter. You can decide whether loneliness will teach you to value yourself or push you back toward people who repeatedly damage you. You can decide whether uncertainty will bring you closer to Allah or make you abandon everything you once believed. The storm may be outside you, but the most important battle is often happening within you. Will fear become your leader? Will anger become your language? Will rejection become your identity? Will pain become permission to hurt innocent people? Or will you allow this season to deepen you without darkening you? That is real strength. Strength is not becoming cold. Strength is not pretending you no longer care. Strength is not telling everyone that nothing can hurt you. Sometimes, people confuse numbness with healing. They stop crying and assume they are strong. They stop trusting and call it wisdom. They stop loving and call it protection. They build a wall around their heart and call it peace. But a heart that cannot feel is not necessarily healed. It may simply be hiding. True strength is softer than that. It is the ability to feel pain without allowing pain to decide your entire character. It is the ability to cry without believing you are weak. It is the ability to forgive without returning to what harmed you. It is the ability to remain kind without becoming easy to misuse. It is the ability to love while still protecting your dignity. You do not need to become stone to survive the storm. A tree survives because it can bend. Its strength is not stiffness. Its strength is deep roots and flexible branches. When the wind comes, it moves, but it does not lose its connection to the ground. You may also bend during difficult days. You may feel tired. You may need support. You may have moments when your confidence disappears. That does not mean the storm has defeated you. A shaking heart can still remain connected to faith. A tired person can still take one honest step. A wounded soul can still choose not to wound others. Do not judge your strength by whether you felt afraid. Judge it by what you chose while fear was present. Perhaps you were afraid, but you still told the truth. Perhaps you felt lonely, but you did not return to a harmful relationship. Perhaps you felt rejected, but you did not insult your own worth. Perhaps you felt angry, but you stopped yourself before speaking words you would later regret. Perhaps you felt hopeless, yet you still got out of bed and completed the responsibility in front of you. These choices may look small, but storms are survived through small choices. One breath, one prayer, one boundary, one honest conversation, one decision not to give up today. You may not notice your growth because you are waiting to become a completely different person overnight. But deep change rarely happens that way. It enters quietly. You notice that a problem which once ruined your entire week now hurts for only one day. You notice that someone's silence no longer makes you chase them immediately. You notice that criticism still touches you, but it no longer decides your value. You notice that you can sit with uncertainty without creating 10 disasters in your mind. You notice that you pray before reacting. You notice that you pause before saying yes. You notice that you no longer explain yourself to people who have already chosen not to understand. This is growth. It does not always arrive with a powerful feeling. Sometimes it appears as a calmer response, a slower reaction, a wiser choice, a door you are finally willing to close, a message you no longer feel the need to send. The storm may still look the same from the outside, but the person standing inside it is changing. The old version of you believed every difficult moment was the end. The new version may begin asking, what is the next step? The old version panicked when plans changed. The new version may feel disappointed, but remain able to think clearly. The old version believed being alone meant being abandoned. The new version may understand that solitude can also become a place of healing. The old version chased anyone who stepped away. The new version may allow people to reveal their choice without losing dignity. The old version needed constant signs. The new version may continue doing what is right, even when life remains quiet. The old version tried to force every answer. The new version may learn that effort and control are not the same thing. This change does not make you perfect. You may still fall into old habits. You may still have difficult nights. You may still check the closed door sometimes. You may still remember the person who left. You may still become impatient. Do not use these moments as proof that nothing has changed. Healing is not forgetting every wound. Healing is remembering without bleeding in the same way. Growth is not never becoming afraid. Growth is learning that fear does not deserve every decision. Strength is not never falling. Strength is learning how to rise without hating yourself for falling. Some days, the old version of you may return. It may whisper, "Nothing has changed. You are still weak. You will always be this way." Do not believe it too quickly. The fact that an old feeling returns does not mean you have returned to the beginning. A traveler may see the same mountain from different parts of the road. That does not mean they have stopped moving. You may meet the same fear again from a stronger place. You may face the same kind of rejection, but respond with greater dignity. You may experience another delay without losing all hope. The storm may repeat the lesson, because life is asking whether the new strength has become real. Do not fear repetition. Sometimes, repeated tests reveal progress you could not see before. The first time someone disappointed you, perhaps you begged for an explanation. The next time, you may ask one honest question and then accept what their actions show. The first time a plan failed, perhaps you stopped everything. The next time, you may grieve and begin building another road. The first time you felt lonely, perhaps you returned to what hurt you. The next time, you may sit with the loneliness, pray, call someone safe, and allow the feeling to pass. This is evidence. You are not breaking in the same way. You may still hurt, but the hurt no longer owns your direction. The greatest victory may not be that life never becomes difficult again. Life will continue changing. People will still disappoint you. Plans will still fail. Bodies will still become tired. The future will still contain uncertainty. If your peace depends on a life without storms, peace will always remain fragile. But if your heart learns how to remain grounded when life moves, you carry something deeper. A calm heart does not mean a life without problems. It means problems no longer control every room inside you. You can face one difficulty without allowing it to poison everything else. You can have a hard morning without calling your whole life terrible. You can experience one rejection without believing everyone will reject you. You can lose one opportunity without calling yourself a failure. You can have one disagreement without deciding the relationship has no value. The old heart turned one painful moment into a complete story. The new heart may learn to say, "This is painful, but it is not everything. This chapter is difficult, but it is not the whole book. This person left, but love has not left the world. This door closed, but my future still contains roads. This answer is delayed, but my life is still happening." These sentences may become anchors. An anchor does not stop the sea from moving. It stops the ship from being carried everywhere by the movement. Your faith can become that anchor. Your values can become that anchor. Your understanding of your own worth can become that anchor. You may still feel the waves, but you no longer drift toward every dangerous shore. Before this storm, perhaps you trusted every strong feeling. When fear spoke, you believed disaster was coming. When loneliness spoke, you believed you needed someone immediately. When anger spoke, you believed you had to respond. When disappointment spoke, you believed nothing good remained. But the storm may have taught you that feelings are powerful visitors, not perfect prophets. Fear can speak loudly and still be wrong. Loneliness can feel endless and still pass. Anger can feel necessary and still lead to regret. Hopelessness can make predictions about a future it cannot see. The new version of you may begin listening without obeying. You may say, "I hear the fear, but I will still think carefully. I feel lonely, but I will not chase someone who harms me. I feel angry, but I will not speak until my words become clean. I feel hopeless today, but I will not build tomorrow from today's emotion." This is not denying your feelings. It is giving wisdom The final voice. A calm heart is not one that feels nothing. It is one that has learned not to hand every feeling the keys. The storm may also change how you see people. Before, you may have believed that love meant never disappointing you. You may have expected people to always understand, always stay, always know what you needed. Then life showed you that people are limited. Good people can fail. Loving people can become tired. Honest people can misunderstand. Some people will leave. Others will remain but still not know how to help. This truth may hurt, but it can also make your relationships healthier. You stop expecting human beings to become perfect sources of comfort. You appreciate their kindness without making them responsible for your entire happiness. You allow people to support you, but you do not place your identity inside their hands. You stop saying, "Without you, I am nothing." You begin saying, "Your presence is precious, but my worth does not begin or end with you." This allows love to breathe. Love becomes a choice rather than fear. You can care without controlling. You can stay without losing yourself. You can release when remaining becomes harmful. You can let another person be human without demanding that they heal every wound inside you. Perhaps the storm removed certain people. Perhaps it revealed who only liked the easy version of you. Some people enjoy your light, but disappear when you need help carrying darkness. Some people love what you give, but become uncomfortable when you begin needing something. Some people support your growth only until your growth changes your boundaries. The storm may have made these truths visible. Do not become bitter, but do not become blind again. Learn the difference between someone who makes mistakes and someone who repeatedly refuses responsibility. Learn the difference between temporary distance and constant neglect. Learn the difference between forgiveness and permission. You can forgive someone and still decide they should not have the same access to your life. You can wish them well and still keep the door closed. You can remember the good without returning to the harm. This is not cruelty. It is wisdom formed through experience. The old version of you may have believed that setting boundaries made you selfish. The new version may understand that a boundary protects what is healthy. A garden without a fence is not more loving. It is simply easier to destroy. Your peace also needs protection. Your time needs protection. Your values need protection. Your faith needs protection. You do not need to answer every call. You do not need to enter every argument. You do not need to explain every decision. You do not need to keep giving access to people who repeatedly misuse it. The storm may have taught you that saying no does not make you heartless. Sometimes, no is the word that saves your future. No, I will not return to the same cycle. No, I will not accept disrespect to avoid being alone. No, I will not keep proving my worth to people committed to misunderstanding me. No, I will not destroy my health for approval. No, I will not make a permanent choice from temporary fear. Every healthy no creates space for a better yes. Yes to dignity. Yes to rest. Yes to honest relationships. Yes to growth. Yes to Allah's guidance. Perhaps you entered the storm always needing approval. You wanted everyone to understand you. You changed yourself to remain accepted. You remained silent when something hurt because you feared losing the person. You said yes when your heart wanted to say no. You measured your worth through the reactions of others. Then the storm removed the applause. People misunderstood. Some blamed you, some left, and you discovered that you could not build a peaceful life while constantly performing for everyone. The new version of you may no longer need to win every opinion. You may explain once, speak respectfully, correct yourself when necessary, then continue. You begin understanding that being misunderstood does not always mean you are wrong. Sometimes people misunderstand you because the version of you they controlled no longer exists. They liked you when you were always available. They liked you when you accepted everything quietly. They liked you when your boundaries were weak. When you begin changing, they may call your growth pride. They may call your silence disrespect. They may call your boundaries selfishness. Listen carefully. Sometimes criticism contains truth. You should remain humble enough to examine yourself. But not every criticism deserves control over your life. Ask whether the words are honest. Ask whether the person is wise. Ask whether they care about your growth or only their own comfort. Then take what is useful and release what is not. You do not have to drink every opinion offered to you. The storm may teach you whose voice deserves a place inside your heart. Not the loudest voice, not the most emotional voice, but the honest voice, the wise voice, the voice that corrects without humiliating, the voice that wants you closer to truth, not easier to control. Choose these people carefully. Strength does not mean walking alone forever. The strongest heart still needs trustworthy company. A storm may reveal who can sit with you without demanding that you recover immediately, who can listen without turning your pain into gossip, who can correct you without destroying your dignity, who can remind you of Allah without using religion to silence your feelings, who can stay present even when they cannot solve everything. These people are precious. Do not overlook quiet loyalty while mourning loud attention. Sometimes the support you wanted came from one person, but the support you needed arrived through another. A friend, a family member, a teacher, a stranger's kindness, a meaningful sentence at the right time, a moment of peace during prayer. The storm may teach you not to demand mercy from only one direction. Help can arrive in forms you did not expect. A calm heart remains open enough to notice. The storm may also change your relationship with success. Before, perhaps success meant proving everyone wrong. You wanted the achievement, so people would regret doubting you. You wanted the money so no one could look down upon you. You wanted attention because being unseen felt unbearable. But living for other people's reactions is another kind of prison. Even success becomes heavy when it is built from revenge. You reach the goal, look around, and discover you are still waiting for someone to approve. The new version of you may want success for cleaner reasons, to use your abilities well, to provide for those you love, to serve people, to build something meaningful, to honor the opportunities Allah gives. You stop asking, will this impress them? You begin asking, will this improve me? Will this help someone? Will this protect my values? Will I still respect myself when the applause becomes quiet? This is a deeper ambition. It does not need enemies to remain alive. It can grow quietly. The storm may have removed something you used to define yourself, a position, a relationship, a reputation, a dream. Without it, you may have asked, who am I now? That question can feel frightening, but it can also become freedom. You begin discovering that you are larger than one role. You are not only someone's partner, not only someone's employee, not only your success, not only your failure, not only the mistake you made, not only the pain you survived. These are parts of your story. They are not the complete name of your soul. You can lose a role without losing your humanity. You can fail at one goal without becoming a failure. You can be rejected without becoming unworthy. You can make a mistake without becoming permanently ruined. The new version of you may build identity upon something deeper: faith, character, honesty, responsibility, the way you treat people when no one is watching, the way you return after falling, the way you keep your heart soft without allowing it to be misused. These things cannot be easily taken by one closed door. A calmer heart also learns the difference between guilt and responsibility. Perhaps you made mistakes before the storm. Perhaps some pain came from your own choices. You ignored signs. You stayed too long. You spoke badly. You trusted carelessly. You abandoned your own values to keep someone. You cannot heal by pretending you did nothing wrong, but you also cannot heal by hating yourself forever. Responsibility says, I made a mistake. I must learn. Shame says, I am the mistake. I cannot change. Responsibility creates movement. Shame creates paralysis. The new version of you may become brave enough to face the truth without using truth as a weapon against yourself. You can say, I should have left earlier. I should have spoken honestly. I allowed fear to choose for me. I hurt someone. I neglected what mattered. Then ask, what can I repair? What must I stop repeating? Who deserves an apology? What boundary must I build? What skill must I learn? This is how regret becomes wisdom. You carry the lesson and put down the chain. A storm should not become a courtroom where you punish yourself every day. Let it become a classroom. Learn, correct, begin again. The storm may have broken your trust in yourself. Perhaps you look back at your old choices and wonder, how did I not see it? You may fear every new decision because you do not want to be wrong again. But wisdom is not refusing to choose. Wisdom is choosing more slowly and honestly. You gather information, you watch actions, you seek advice, you pray, you examine your motives. Then you accept that every human decision still carries uncertainty. You may never possess perfect knowledge, but you can become less careless, more patient, more aware. You can rebuild trust in yourself through small promises. Say you will wake up at a certain time, then try to do it. Say you will not contact the person tonight, then keep that promise. Say you will complete one task, then finish it. Say you will rest, then allow yourself to rest. Every kept promise tells your heart, you can depend on me again. Do not begin with giant promises. Begin small. Self-trust grows through consistency, not dramatic speeches. The new version of you may stop abandoning yourself whenever another person becomes unhappy. You remain loyal to truth. You listen, you care, but you do not betray your deepest values to keep temporary peace. This is not selfishness, it is integrity. The storm may also teach you that rest is not weakness. Before, perhaps you forced yourself constantly. You believed strong people never pause. You ignored exhaustion. You carried everyone's needs. You said yes to everything. Then your body or mind began asking for mercy. A calm heart learns to respect limits. You cannot pour from a cup that is constantly empty. Rest does not mean you have quit. Sometimes, rest is the reason you can continue. Sleep, step away from the noise, eat properly, walk outside, speak to someone. Seek professional help when the burden becomes too heavy. Faith and support are not enemies. Asking for help does not mean you are failing the test. It may be the wise action the test requires. A storm can become dangerous when you isolate yourself completely. Pain may tell you no one understands. Perhaps no one understands every detail, but someone may understand enough to help you through tonight. You do not need one person to solve the whole storm. You may only need one safe person to sit beside you while it rains. The new version of you may also stop glorifying suffering. Pain is not always proof that you are growing. Some pain is a warning. Some situations should be left. Some relationships need distance. Some environments damage the mind and body. Islam does not require you to remain in preventable harm to prove strength. Wisdom includes knowing when endurance is noble and when leaving is necessary. You can be patient while still seeking change. You can trust Allah while still making a plan. You can pray while still contacting someone qualified to help. You can forgive while still protecting yourself. The storm is not training you to accept every kind of pain silently. It may be training you to recognize which pain builds you and which pain keeps destroying you. The pain of discipline may build. The pain of healing may build. The pain of an honest conversation may build. But constant humiliation, violence, manipulation, or abuse should not be romanticized as spiritual training. A stronger version of you knows the difference. It does not call danger devotion. It does not call self-erasure love. It does not call fear respect. It does not call silence peace when silence is being forced. Strength includes seeking safety. The storm may also change the way you pray. At first, perhaps your prayer was only, remove this, give me that, make them return, open the door. These prayers came from real pain. There is nothing wrong with asking for relief, but as the storm continues, your prayer may deepen. Give me wisdom while I wait. Protect my character. Help me recognize what is good. Do not let desperation choose for me. Make my heart steady even before my circumstances change. This is a different kind of prayer. You are not only asking for the storm to change, you are asking to change within it. Sometimes, the first answer to your prayer is not a new situation, it is new strength. Not the complete removal of fear, but enough courage to take the next step. not the return of the person, but the return of your dignity, not the opening of the old door, but the ability to stop knocking, not the full explanation, but enough peace to continue without it. You may have been waiting for something outside to move. Then you realize something inside has already moved. Your standards changed. Your voice became stronger. Your dependence became weaker. Your faith became more honest. Your heart became less easily controlled. This inner movement may be difficult to measure, but it can change every future chapter. A new opportunity in the hands of the old version of you may have created the same old problem. A new relationship with the old fears may have repeated the same old pain. A new environment with the same habits may have produced the same old life. The storm may be teaching you that changing the room is not enough. You must also change what you carry into the room. You cannot bring constant suspicion into a healthy relationship and expect peace. You cannot bring laziness into a new opportunity and expect growth. You cannot bring weak boundaries into a new friendship and expect respect. You cannot bring the need for approval into success and expect freedom. The new version of you may be preparing to enter better doors differently, not perfectly, but more wisely. You may listen earlier, speak sooner, walk away when the pattern becomes clear. Value consistency more than excitement. Value character more than charm. Value peace more than attention. These changes can save years. The storm may have taken something, but perhaps it also gave you eyes. Eyes that notice what words try to hide. Eyes that recognize when actions and promises do not match. Eyes that see your own patterns. Eyes that understand that feeling chosen is not the same as being treated well. This vision may be painful at first, because once you see clearly, you can no longer comfortably return to what you once accepted. The new version of you may feel lonely because old spaces no longer fit. You may outgrow conversations, habits, friendships, dreams. The old life may not be completely wrong. It may simply no longer hold the person you are becoming. Do not become arrogant. Growth does not make you better than everyone. It only makes you responsible for what you now understand. Treat people kindly, but do not shrink yourself to remain familiar. You may have to walk through a quiet space between who you were and who you are becoming. The old identity has weakened. The new one is not yet fully formed. This space can feel empty. You may ask, where do I belong now? Be patient. A butterfly does not return to the ground because the sky feels unfamiliar. New strength often feels uncomfortable before it feels natural. Healthy boundaries may first feel like guilt. Rest may first feel like laziness. Peace may first feel boring after years of chaos. Respect may feel strange if you are used to chasing. Give yourself time to become familiar with healthier things. Do not return to pain simply because pain feels known. The familiar is not always safe. Sometimes the storm ends outside, but continues inside. The event passes. The person leaves. The crisis becomes smaller. Yet your body still expects danger. A small problem makes your heart race. A delayed message feels like rejection. A raised voice brings back old fear. Be gentle with yourself. The body may remember what the mind wants to forget. Healing may require more than positive words. It may require rest, support, time, counseling, safe relationships, repeated experiences that teach your body you are not in the old storm now. Do not shame yourself for reacting, but do not allow the reaction to become the permanent ruler. Pause. Breathe slowly. Look around. Name what is true in the present. Say, this feeling belongs partly to an old moment. I am here now. The storm may have trained your body to survive. Now healing may train it to feel safe again. This process can be slow, but slow does not mean impossible. The new version of you may carry scars. Scars are not signs that nothing healed. They are signs that the skin closed after being wounded. You may always remember certain losses, some dates, some words, some nights. Healing does not require you to erase them. It means those memories no longer decide every day ahead. You can honor what hurt without building your entire home inside it. You can tell your story without living in the worst chapter forever. Be careful with the story you repeat about yourself. I am the one everyone leaves. I am the one who always fails. I am the one life keeps punishing. These stories may feel true because pain has repeated, but repetition does not make them complete. Perhaps a more honest story is, I have been left, and I am learning not to leave myself. I have failed, and I am learning how to begin again. I have suffered, and I am learning how to remain soft. I have faced storms, and I am still standing. The words you repeat become the room your mind lives inside. Choose truthful words that allow growth, not false positivity, not pretending, truth with possibility. This is hard, but hard is not forever. I am wounded, but I am not only my wound. I feel afraid, but fear does not know the whole future. I do not have every answer, but I still have choices. A calmer heart speaks this language. It does not deny the storm. It refuses to give the storm the final sentence. One day, you may meet someone facing the same kind of pain you survived. You will hear words that sound like your old thoughts. I cannot continue. No one understands. My life is over. And suddenly, you may understand why your experience gave you a depth that easy days could not give. You will not offer empty advice. You will know when to speak and when to remain quiet. You will not tell them to hurry. You will know that healing cannot be forced. You may become the safe person you once needed. Your wound may not become beautiful because it hurt, but the compassion born from it can become beautiful. The wisdom born from it can become useful. The boundaries born from it can protect your future. The faith born from it can carry you through another dark night. This does not mean every painful experience needs to become a public lesson. You do not owe everyone your story. Some healing needs privacy. Some chapters should be shared only with people who have earned trust. Your pain is not entertainment. Your vulnerability is valuable. The new version of you may learn the difference between being honest and being exposed. Honesty says, this is what happened, and this is what I learned. Exposure says, I will give every detail to anyone because I need their validation. Protect what is still tender. A wound touched by too many careless hands takes longer to heal. Choose your listeners. Choose people who can hold your story without using it. The storm may also teach you that forgiveness takes different forms. Sometimes forgiveness is a conversation. Sometimes it is a quiet decision made without the other person. Sometimes it is releasing your desire to take revenge. Forgiveness does not always mean trust returns. Trust is rebuilt through changed behavior, not demanded through words. You can forgive someone while recognizing they have not become safe. You can release hatred while keeping distance. You can stop wishing them harm without giving them another chance to harm you. This balance protects both softness and wisdom. The old version of you may have believed forgiveness meant forgetting everything. The new version may understand that memory can protect. You remember the lesson without feeding the anger. You remember the pattern without living in constant fear. You remember what happened without allowing it to make every new person guilty. That is difficult work. Do not punish innocent people for what someone else did, but do not ignore clear signs because you are afraid of seeming unkind. Stay open, stay aware. The storm may have trained you to watch actions more than promises. A promise can be beautiful. Consistency is more powerful. Anyone can speak warmly for one day. Character appears over time. The new version of you may no longer be impressed by quick attention. You notice whether effort remains, whether respect survives disagreement, whether honesty appears when truth is uncomfortable, whether kindness is offered without hidden control. This wisdom may make your circle smaller, but it may also make your peace larger. Do not fear a smaller circle when the relationships within it are cleaner. Quality often becomes more important after a storm. You stop needing to be known by everyone. You begin valuing being truly understood by a few. The storm may have taught you that public praise can disappear quickly. People celebrate today and forget tomorrow. If your heart becomes dependent on applause, you will keep performing even when the performance destroys you. A calmer heart can work quietly. It does not need every good action to be seen. It does not need every sacrifice to be thanked. It still appreciates recognition, but lack of recognition no longer makes goodness meaningless. You begin doing some things simply because they are right. You pray when no one watches. You keep a promise no one would know you broke. You help without announcing it. You correct yourself without needing praise for the correction. This hidden character becomes a strong foundation. Storms often remove appearances. They reveal who you are when the audience disappears. Perhaps you discovered parts of yourself you did not like. Jealousy, anger, dependence, pride. Do not panic. Revelation is the beginning of change. You are not required to remain as you were. The new version of you is not someone who never sees darkness inside. It is someone who no longer protects that darkness with excuses. You admit, repent, correct, try again. This humility can make you stronger than pretending perfection. A person who knows their weakness prepares for it. A person who denies their weakness is controlled by it. Know your triggers. Know when you become careless. Know what kind of attention makes you lose judgment. Know which situations weaken your boundaries. This knowledge is not shameful. It is a map. It helps you avoid roads that repeatedly lead to harm. The storm may also teach you to release the need to understand everything. Perhaps you still do not know why certain events happened, why that person changed, why the opportunity disappeared, why the answer took so long. You may never receive a complete explanation. A calm heart does not stop asking, but it stops making peace dependent upon the answer. You say, I would like to understand, but I can still continue without full understanding. This is powerful because unanswered questions can become chains. You replay them for years. What did I miss? What if I had done something different? Why was I not enough? Some questions may have useful answers. Others only create circles. Ask whether the question helps you act better today. If not, perhaps it is time to set it down. You do not have to solve the entire past before building one good day. Take the lesson that is clear. Leave the mystery with Allah. You may not know why the storm came, but you can know who you do not want to become because of it. You do not want to become cruel, desperate, dishonest, closed to all goodness. That knowledge gives direction. The new version of you may not have every answer, but it may have better questions. Instead of asking, why did they not choose me? You ask, why did I believe their choice defined my value? Instead of asking, how can I make them return? You ask, why am I willing to lose myself to keep them? Instead of asking, why is life against me? You ask, what part of this situation can I respond to wisely? Instead of asking, when will everything become easy? You ask, how can I become steadier even before it does? Better questions create better roads. Perhaps the storm is not preparing you for one giant future event. Perhaps it is preparing you for ordinary life, for the daily pressure of responsibility, for misunderstandings, for changes, for raising a family, for managing success, for caring for aging parents, for remaining honest when dishonesty would be easier. A strong life is not built only in dramatic moments. It is built in ordinary choices repeated under pressure. The storm may be training you to remain gentle when tired, to listen when angry, to rest before collapsing, to ask for help before isolation becomes dangerous, to keep promises, to remain thankful even while something is missing. These lessons may look simple, but simple does not mean small. A calm response can protect a relationship. A wise pause can prevent years of regret. A strong boundary can save your health. One honest prayer can prevent a desperate decision. The new version of you may become someone others can depend upon, not because you never struggle, but because you have learned not to turn every struggle into destruction. You can feel pressure without spreading pressure to everyone around you. You can admit when you are not okay. You can apologize when you fail. You can take responsibility. You can say, I need time before I answer. These are signs of emotional maturity. The old version may have reacted quickly. The new version pauses. The old version defended every mistake. The new version can every mistake. The new version can say, I was wrong. The old version believed apology meant weakness. The new version understands that accountability is strength. A storm often removes the image you created of yourself. You may have believed you were always patient, until delay tested you, always forgiving, until someone hurt you deeply, always faithful, until life became silent. This can be humbling, but humility is not humiliation. Humility is clear sight. You see where you are strong. You see where you need help. You stop pretending, and because you stop pretending, you can finally grow. The new version of you may become less interested in looking strong and more interested in becoming healthy. This is an important change. Looking strong says, I need everyone to believe I am fine. Becoming healthy says, I will be honest about what needs healing. Looking strong hides tears. Becoming healthy knows when tears need to fall. Looking strong refuses support. Becoming healthy accepts help. Looking strong stays in harmful places to prove endurance. Becoming healthy knows when leaving is wise. Choose health over appearance. No applause is worth losing yourself. Perhaps the storm is also training you to enjoy peace when it returns. People who live in chaos for a long time can become uncomfortable with calmness. When life becomes quiet, they search for a new problem. They overthink. They reopen old conversations. They return to old people. Chaos became familiar, so peace feels suspicious. The new version of you must learn not only how to survive storms, it must also learn how to live without them. When peace comes, do not destroy it because it feels unfamiliar. Allow calm days to be calm. You do not need to prepare for disaster every moment. You do not need to test people constantly. You do not need to create conflict to feel alive. Peace may feel empty at first. Give it time. A quiet room feels strange after years beside loud machines. But soon, your ears adjust. Your heart can also adjust. Teach yourself that safety is not boring. Respect is not weakness. Consistency is not lack of passion. Calm love may feel less dramatic than unstable attention, but it can be far more beautiful. The storm may have changed your taste. What once excited you may now exhaust you. What once looked boring may now look peaceful. You begin wanting clarity more than mystery, consistency more than intensity, honesty more than charm, purpose more than appearance. This is growth. The new version of you may not fit the old dreams because the old dreams were built from wounds. Perhaps you wanted attention because you felt unseen. Perhaps you wanted wealth only to prove your worth. Perhaps you wanted a specific person because rejection felt like a personal defeat. As you heal, the dream may change. Do not fear that. Changing your mind is not always failure. Sometimes it means you are no longer asking pain to choose your future. You may discover that what you truly wanted was not the person. It was love, not the title. It was respect, not applause. It was significance. There may be healthier ways to receive what the heart was actually seeking. The storm can remove the false shape of the desire and reveal the deeper need. Once you see the need, you can meet it more wisely. You can build respect within yourself instead of begging disrespectful people to provide it. You can find meaning through service rather than attention. You can receive love from a wider life rather than demanding it from one closed heart. This is freedom. The storm may not give you back everything it took. Some doors may remain closed. Some relationships may never return. Some dreams may remain dreams. You are allowed to grieve that. Strength does not require you to call every loss a blessing immediately. Some losses simply hurt. Faith does not ask you to lie about pain. It asks you not to lose all hope because pain exists. You can hold two truths. This was painful, and my life can still contain goodness. I wish it had ended differently, and I can still build from what remains. I may never fully understand, and I can still trust Allah with the part I cannot carry. This ability to hold more than one truth is maturity. The old mind often thinks in extremes. Everything is perfect, or everything is ruined. A person is completely good or completely bad. A plan succeeds fully, or life is a failure. The new version sees more carefully. A relationship may have contained real love, and still become unhealthy. A decision may have been sincere and still been wrong. A season may be painful and still contain growth. You may be strong and still need help. You may have faith and still feel afraid. Life becomes less confusing when you stop forcing it into simple extremes. A calm heart can hold complexity without losing direction. It does not need every person to become a villain before walking away. It does not need every loss to become beautiful before accepting it. It simply sees what is true and chooses what is healthy. One day, the storm may begin to weaken. The situation changes. The answer arrives. The tears become less frequent. The memory loses some of its weight. At first, you may not notice. Healing can be quiet. You wake up and realize the first thought was not the old pain. You hear their name, and your body does not react as strongly. You face a problem and respond without panic. You enjoy an hour without feeling guilty. These moments may seem ordinary, but they are signs that the storm is no longer living in every room of your heart. Do not rush to declare yourself completely healed, but allow yourself to recognize progress. You deserve to notice how far you have come. Not to become proud, but to become grateful. You survived days you once believed would destroy you. You learned things you never wanted to learn. You became stronger in ways no one can fully see. Thank Allah for each small return of peace. The new version of you may still carry tenderness. That tenderness is not a flaw. Do not become embarrassed because certain things still move you. A strong heart can remain sensitive. Sensitivity becomes dangerous only when it removes all judgment. You can feel deeply and choose wisely. You can care deeply and leave when necessary. You can remember and continue. This balance is beautiful. The storm may have broken the false idea that strength means never needing anyone. Real strength knows where to lean. It leans upon Allah. It seeks trustworthy people. It accepts professional guidance. It rests. It learns. It asks questions. It does not isolate itself to prove independence. You do not become stronger by carrying every weight alone. Sometimes you become stronger by finally admitting that the weight requires more hands. The new version of you may become honest enough to say, I need help. I do not understand. I am struggling. I was wrong. I need time. These sentences require courage. Pride prefers silence. Healing prefers truth. Perhaps the storm is not ending by giving you the old life back. Perhaps it is ending by teaching you that you no longer need the old life. This realization can feel strange. You once prayed desperately for something to return. Now, if it returned, you may not want it in the same way. You have changed. Your standards have changed. Your understanding has changed. What once looked like the only future may now look like a room you have outgrown. This is one of the clearest signs of growth. You stop begging for what you once believed you could not live without, not because you hate it, but because you finally understand that your life is larger. The storm did not only remove something, it removed the belief that you were nothing without it. That belief may have been the deepest chain. Now you can remember without worshipping, love without chasing, hope without forcing. This is freedom of the heart. One day, another storm may come. You may not like hearing this, but life will continue testing every person in different ways. The goal is not to build a life where nothing painful ever happens. The goal is to build roots. When the next difficult season arrives, you may still feel fear, but you will also remember, I have stood in dark places before. I have survived feelings that lied to me. I have lost things and remained alive. I have faced closed doors and found other roads. I have waited without forcing. I have felt alone without being abandoned. Memory can become strength, not because the next storm will be easy, but because you will know that the first feeling is not always the final truth. You will not immediately call the storm your ending. You may say, this hurts. I need support. I do not yet know what this means, but I will not surrender my entire future to this moment. That sentence shows the new version of you has arrived, not fearless, but steadier, not unbreakable, but able to rebuild, not certain about everything, but clear about where to return. perhaps that is the real meaning of strength. Not a heart that never cracks, but a heart that knows how to bring its cracks to Allah, instead of filling them with harmful things. Not a person who never falls, but a person who has learned that falling is an event, not an identity. Not a life without tears, but eyes that can cry without losing sight of hope. The storm may have entered your life loudly, but the new version of you may emerge quietly. It may appear when you choose peace instead of argument, when you accept an ending without begging, when you rest without guilt, when you protect your values without needing everyone's approval, when you pray while still confused, when you look at the old door and no longer feel the need to knock. No celebration may happen. No one may announce your growth, but you will know, because something that once controlled you no longer has the same power. That is victory, not always the return of what you lost. Sometimes it is freedom from needing it to return, not always the removal of every memory. Sometimes it is the memory losing control over your choices, not always an easier road. Sometimes it is stronger feet, not always a quieter world. Sometimes it is a quieter heart. So do not measure this season only by what it took. Notice what it taught. Notice the fear you finally faced, the boundary you finally built, the person you finally stopped chasing, the prayer you finally made honestly, the truth you finally accepted, the rest you finally allowed, the dignity you finally protected. These may be the treasures hidden inside a season you never wanted. Again, you do not need to thank the pain for hurting you, but you may thank Allah for helping you find strength despite it. You may say, I would not choose this storm again, but I will not waste what I learned. I wish it had been easier, but I am grateful I did not lose myself completely. I still have wounds, but I also have wisdom. This is honest gratitude. It does not pretend. It recognizes both the rain and the roots. The storm may pass slowly. Do not demand one perfect morning when everything disappears. Healing may arrive in pieces. A little peace today, more clarity next month, a stronger boundary later. One day, you may look back and realize the pieces became a new life. Be patient with the process. You are not behind because you still feel pain. You are not weak because healing takes time. You are not failing because some days remain difficult. The sky does not become clear in 1 second after a storm. Clouds move. Rain weakens. Light enters slowly. Your heart may heal in the same way. Let the light enter slowly. Do not insult it because the whole sky is not yet blue. A small amount of peace is still peace. A single hour without fear is still progress. One wise decision is still growth. Protect these small beginnings. The new version of you is being formed through them. The final lesson is not that nothing will ever break you again. Human beings remain human. Love creates vulnerability. Loss can still hurt. The final lesson is that you may no longer break in the same way. You may not lose your entire identity. You may not abandon every value. You may not return to every harmful habit. You may know how to ask for help earlier, how to rest sooner, how to recognize danger, how to trust Allah, even while crying. The storm may still bend you, but your roots may hold, and after it passes, you may stand differently, not above other people, not without scars, but with a quiet understanding. I know what fear can do, and I know it does not deserve to lead me. I know what rejection feels like, and I know it does not decide my worth. I know what silence feels like, and I know quietness is not always abandonment. I know what delay feels like, and I know forcing is not always faith. I know what loss feels like, and I know life can still continue. These lessons cannot be easily taken from you. They become part of how you walk, how you choose, how you love, how you pray, how you begin again. So breathe, even if the storm has not fully ended. You do not need to see the clear sky to believe that weather changes. Take the next step. Protect your heart. Keep your character clean. Accept support. Release what you cannot control. And do not call yourself destroyed while you are still being rebuilt. The storm may have entered to shake everything weak, but perhaps what remains will be more honest, more grounded, more faithful. The greatest change may not be that life becomes easy. It may be that ease is no longer required for you to remain close to Allah. It may be that uncertainty no longer controls every thought. It may be that people can leave without taking your entire worth. It may be that a door can close without closing your hope. It may be that a delay can continue without forcing you into desperation. It may be that pain can visit without becoming the permanent owner of your heart. That is the new version of you. Not someone who cannot be hurt, but someone who knows where to take the hurt. Not someone who never feels fear, but someone who no longer gives fear every decision. Not someone whose life contains no storms, but someone whose roots have learned how to remain. And one day, when you stand beneath a calmer sky, you may finally understand you were not only waiting for the storm to pass, the storm was teaching you how to stand. You were not only asking for your life to change, your heart was learning how to change with wisdom. You were not only surviving the ending of an old chapter, you were becoming the person who could carry the next one. The storm may leave marks, but it does not have to leave you empty. It may leave you with faith that has been tested, patience that has been practiced, wisdom that has been earned, and a calmness that did not come from an easy life. It came from discovering, again and again, that even when life shook around you, you could return to Allah, rise slowly, and refuse to lose yourself. That calmness is not weakness. It is the sound of roots growing beneath the ground. It is the strength of a heart that has seen darkness and still chooses light. It is the quiet voice inside you saying, "This storm is real, this pain matters, but neither of them will write the final meaning of my life."